Chapter 11:30. Biyao woke up slowly and saw the crowd of students outside. This was the first time she felt the atmosphere of the college entrance examination. "Do you want to go down and take a look?" Wuxia asked from the side. Biyao nodded, and the two of them got out of the car together. After Biyao got out of the car, the surrounding gazes quickly landed on Biyao and Wuxia. Especially Wuxia. The man's aura was hard to ignore. Now that he was wearing an elegant tailored suit, he looked light and arrogant. Wuxia's well-defined hand held a black long-handled umbrella, taking care that Biyao could not bask in the sun. He then took out a bottle of cold water from the car and pressed it against Biyao's cheek. This scene made the surrounding people extremely envious. Was there a mistake? He was butchering dogs during the college entrance examination. Biyao held the man's warm hand very smoothly. When she rubbed the mineral water bottle, she also rubbed against the man's hand. She would be a fool not to take advantage of him. The man was used to it and only glanced at her casually. He laughed ambiguously. Just as Biyao looked puzzled, she heard him smile unhurriedly. "That's good. Brother likes our Yunj to be fearless." Biyao was speechless. Biyao immediately let go of his hand. In a way, Pei Qian was indeed unforgettable. He was clearly a bronze-level person who could fall ill from insomnia after being flirted with, but he still felt that he was a king. Suddenly, Teacher Wen's voice sounded in surprise. "Isn't this Brother Biyao?" "Teacher Wen." Wuxia nodded slightly. Teacher Wen, who was wearing a volunteer vest, greeted him and realized that Biyao's expression was not right. "Biyao, are you not feeling well?" Biyao hummed lazily, her voice thick with nasality. Don't tell me you have a fever." Teacher Wen's expression changed. Biyao's eyelids were slightly closed as she lifted them lazily, looking listless. Teacher Wen immediately panicked. "How high is your fever? Are you feeling unwell?" "Don't be nervous, Biyao. Do your best. You can definitely do it. Let me teach you. Take a deep breath and calm down," Biyao said. "Teacher, you should calm down first. Why do you suddenly have a fever?" Hearing Teacher Wen's noisy voice, Biyao immediately turned to look at Wuxia. "Brother, you can go back first. There's still a minute to go. I'll go over first." With that said, Biyao turned around without thinking and prepared to leave. But in the next second, she was suddenly pulled back. The man's eyes were extremely dark. He stared straight at her and seemed to sigh. "Brother is still quite nervous." Wuxia raised his eyebrows and looked at her patiently, as if he was really waiting for her to coax him. Biyao, did he need her to coax him? She, who was sick, wasn't nervous to go to the examination hall. Why was he nervous? This thought had just appeared in Biyao's mind, but before she could react, someone suddenly grabbed the back of her neck gently. In the next second, Biyao took a step forward and the man bent down, pressing 2 warm kisses on her forehead. In that moment, the man moved away. When the people around saw this scene, they were immediately flirted. Wasn't this 2F** king tempting? Chapter 11:31. The man's fingers caressed the back of her neck intimately, causing her to tremble. "Do well, Yun." However, the man's low laughter rang in her ears, as if there was no one else around. "If you do well, everything will be yours." The others could not see the girl's face clearly. They could only see that the girl's ears were red. They did not know what the man had just said with a smile. Teacher Wen also felt that this seemed to have deviated from what he knew. Although he knew that Wuxia was not Biyao's biological brother, he had always thought that he was her cousin or something. But wasn't the current direction a little wrong? She was stunned for 2 seconds as she looked at Biyao. Tseng Su, who was beside her, could not help but sigh. True love can indeed conquer everything. Miss Pei will definitely have endless inspiration and win the college entrance examination. However, as soon as he finished speaking, Biyao turned around and bumped into someone. She was in so much pain that she immediately covered her head. He didn't seem to be a very smart person. Tsing Su was speechless. Teacher Wen was speechless. It was over. She looked like she had drunk a box of vodka. Looking at Bei Yunji's back view as she left, Teacher Wen was almost depressed. How is it? I think I saw Bei Yunji go in just now. How is she? Bei Yunji's physics teacher asked with a smile. Teacher Wen said. She has a fever. She might be in a bad state. She's sick at this time. Is it serious? The physics teacher frowned. Teacher Wen instinctively looked at Hushidu. Tsing Su answered first, 39 degrees Celsius. This time, the teachers fell silent. This was already a high fever. If it rose another 2 degrees, her brain would be damaged. How can she take the exam in this state? The language teacher beside him was also worried. That's right. The examinees from the previous cohort that I taught had a low fever that affected their performance. They were 20 to 30 points worse than usual. However, hearing their discussion, Teacher Hao of Class 1 was secretly delighted. He was overjoyed. Bei Yunji was already in such a state. Wasn't she basically saying goodbye to the top 3 in the cohort? She walked into the examination hall. The invigilator also noticed that Bei Yunji did not look too good. Student, are you not feeling well? Yes, I have a slight fever. Bei Yunji's voice was slightly hoarse. It didn't sound like she had a fever. The invigilator sighed. Come on, hang in there. Every year, there would be children who would catch a cold at this time. How unlucky. Thank you, teacher. Bei Yunji smirked. After returning to her seat, she touched her forehead. But soon, the test papers were handed out. The Chinese language exam. The teacher saw that the first person to put down her pen was Bei Yunji. Once he closed the paper, he fell asleep on the table. Seeing this, the teacher couldn't help but sigh. He secretly felt pity for this examinee. 2 exams were completed. Bei Yunji had just reached the door when she saw Chu Zhixing and Lu Yuanxi looking at her with a messy expression. It was as if he was admiring her strong will despite her physical disability. Master Pei, it's all right. If it doesn't work out, you can be my junior. Lu Yuanxi consoled. Bei Yunji couldn't be bothered to look at him and left. After a few exams, everyone in Hengda knew that the big boss who got first place in the college entrance examination had a high fever of 39 degrees Celsius. It was a pity that her fate was full of misfortune. Back at the Qin family's old mansion. How did Gu do? Old Master Qin was also very nervous. Bei Yunji nodded. Not bad. However, Qin Yu wanted to say something but hesitated. He pursed his lips and said in a bad tone, Grandpa. They had just agreed not to mention the college entrance examination results, but the old master asked about it the moment they met. End of chapter. Chapter 1132. Old Master Qin knew that he had misspoken. Qin Yu found out from Hushidu that Bei Yunji had a high fever on the day of the college entrance examination and was in a daze. This score, it was already good enough that she could get a good score. Grandpa, I'll go upstairs and rest for a while. With that said, Old Master Qin hurriedly agreed. However, after Bei Yunji went up, the men of the Qin family fell silent. All of them sat on the sofa with their heads lowered. They thought that Bei Yunji was depressed, but she still pretended to be calm. What should we do now? Old Master Qin could not help asking. Qin Lian suddenly said, when Gu recovers, let her go on a trip. This way, no one would be able to improve their results in front of her. Sure. I happen to be free. Qin Lang immediately expressed his stance. Qin Yu laughed coldly. You're a directionally challenged person. Are you worthy of going out with Gu? Brother, I think I'm more. Qin Lang could not be bothered with Qin Yu. He turned around, wanting to curry favor with Qin Lian, but met Qin Lian's cold gaze. Are you all free? Qin Luyan extinguished the cigarette in his hand and asked slowly. Qin Yu and Qin Lang shut up. However, in the end, the person who could accompany Bei Yunj on a trip had not been confirmed. Once Bei Yunj recovered, she went to the computing institute. Even Zhong Xinglin could not help but rack his brains when he heard that Bei Yunj was going to take the college entrance examination with a high fever of 39 degrees Celsius. Have you thought of which school you want to go to? Zhong Xinglin asked. Bei Yunj continued to do her experiment. Up to you. Hearing this, Zhong Xinglin glanced at Bei Yunj and could not help but feel sorry for her. Although Bei Yunj had been engrossed in her research these few days, Zhong Xinglin could occasionally see Bei Yunj sitting alone in the corridor in a daze. She looked like she had suffered a setback in her life. Although the higher-ups don't want you to reveal your identity, don't worry. I'll talk to the principal of Yun University and he will definitely give me face. Even if you fail the college entrance exam, you will still be admitted to Yun University. Bei Yunj. No need. Elder Xiang went to visit the families of the top scorers today. How would he have the time to deal with you? Si Qingyan chuckled. Zhong Xinglin's face darkened and he pretended to grab his weapon. Si Qingyan, do you really think that my temper has been good these 2 years? Si Qingyan was so frightened that he hid behind Bei Yunj. In reality, Zhong Xinglin was not angry because of Si Qingyan's words, but because he had visited the family of the top student today but did not look for Bei Yunj. The top 10 students of each high school were given the lowest score. The students who were most likely to be the city's top scorer were all visited at home. When Teacher Wen thought about how Bei Yunj had gone to take the exam with a high fever, he didn't ask Bei Yunj to estimate her score. Especially when he found out that the Qin brothers were preparing to send Bei Yunj on a trip to ease his mood, Bei Yunj glanced at Si Qingyan, who was about to be beaten up, and frowned. Old master, I've calculated all the data you asked me to calculate for you. So fast? Zhong Xinglin was shocked. Usually, it would take him half a day to calculate. Did Bei Yunj count this as an hour? Yes, take a look. Bei Yunj looked at the time and realized that tomorrow was the college entrance exam results day. Soon, Bei Yunj looked away, but she didn't know that the men in the Qin family couldn't sleep that night. The next day, the college entrance exam score system was almost crushed. The form teacher of Year 3 surrounded a computer and refreshed the results every 2 minutes. P.S. There's one more chapter. Chapter 1133. Why aren't Qin Youjiao's results out yet? The form teachers of the other classes could not help asking. Teacher Hao from Class 1 said with a smile, Teacher Huang has never taught the city's top scholar before, right? The one with the highest score will be stopped. Teacher Huang almost rolled her eyes. It was as if she had taught the city's top scholar before. However, the first high score was Lu Yuanxi's. Candidate name, Lu Yuanxi Chinese, 120 Mathematics, 135 Foreign Language, 150 Science Comprehensive, 283 total, 688 City Ranking, 11th. Lu Yuanxi is ranked 11th in the city? The others were envious. This Lu Yuanxi's original results were below average, but he was ranked 11th in the city for the college entrance examination. Only Teacher Wen frowned. It seems like the exam paper this time is indeed too difficult. Usually, the top 20 in Yunsheng had more than 700 points. But this year's 11th place only had 688 points. Enough, old one. Anyway, once the difficulty of the college entrance examination increases, the admission score will definitely drop. I estimate that Yun University's admission score won't be higher than 680 points. After the teachers finished discussing, another high score was obtained not long after. This time, it was from Class 1. He had made it to 700 points and was ranked 5th in the city. This made the teachers unable to believe that the 5th place in the city only had 702 points. What was the difficulty of the college entrance examination this time? It was too scary. However, before the form teachers could be shocked, there was a ding. Another student had a high score. Candidate name, Chu Zhixing Chinese, 139 Mathematics, 145 foreign language, 131 science comprehensive, 296 total, 711 city ranking, third in the city? There are actually so many people in the top 20 in our school? The form teachers were excited. They would definitely get their year-end bonus this time. There's still Qin Yojiao who hasn't had any results yet. Doesn't this mean that our school has taken the top 3 places in the city? Qin Yojiao will definitely be first. Don't forget that she still has bonus points. This year's bonus points will be directly counted into the ranking. Everyone was even more excited. Only Teacher Wen's eyes darkened when he thought of Bei Yunja's abnormal performance. He suddenly felt that he had let this child down. He had not taken good care of such a good seedling. When the time came, Bei Yunj would definitely be sad if she saw that Lu Yuanxi and Chu Zhixing had done so well. Teacher Wen sighed. However, when he was about to leave, several form teachers lost control when they saw the new scores. Candidate name, Qin language, 141 mathematics, 140 foreign languages, 145 comprehensive science, 290 bonus points, 20 total score, 736 city ranking, 2 ND 736 points. He's only in second place? All the form teachers suddenly felt their scalps turn numb. One had to know that Qin Yojiao had an additional point. Was there such a huge gap between the second place and the first place? Immediately, the homeroom teachers had mixed feelings. They originally thought that the city's top scorer would definitely be Hengda's. But in the end, such a dark horse appeared. Qin Yojiao had added 20 points, but she wasn't even higher than first place. The one with the worst expression was still Teacher Hao. He originally thought that she would definitely become the city's top scorer. He was even the provincial champion. But in the end, Qin Yojiao actually added 20 points and didn't even get first place. Mr. Hao glanced at Qin Yojiao's provincial and national volleyball. The province ranked third, and the country ranked fourth. This was already very high. Alright, now that we've seen the scores, let's summarize the results of our classes. Although he was unwilling, he had to admit that this examinee was probably an immortal. When everyone heard this, they could only silently prepare to leave. But just as everyone was about to leave, the computer suddenly rang. A teacher was confused. What's going on? There are still students whose scores haven't been recorded? P.S. Good night. Chapter 1134. The teacher closest to her felt that it was strange and immediately walked to the computer. After refreshing it, he almost cursed. F***CK. What's going on? Hearing the form teacher of class 5 making a fuss, someone could not help but say, "Don't be so surprised." What happened? First place, the form teacher of class 5 stuttered and could not speak. So what if she's first? Look at you. You've been in school for 5 to 6 years, why can't you calm down? The grade director walked over and looked at the computer screen with a frown. However, when he saw it clearly in the next second, he froze. I first place, Bei Yunj? As soon as he finished speaking, all the form teachers looked at the computer. Then, they all looked at Teacher Wen strangely. Teacher Wen also looked up and his body trembled. What? Who? But soon, the form teachers gathered in front of the computer and no one answered Teacher Wen's question. Examinee name, Bei Yunj Chinese, 149 mathematics, 150 foreign language, 150 science comprehensive, 300 total marks, 749 city ranking, first province ranking, first national ranking, first. Everyone looked down and their hairs stood on end. What kind of suffocating operation was this? Bei Yunj was first in the national ranking? Oh, old one, are you sure that Bei Yunj went to the examination hall with a high fever? Someone could not help asking with a trembling voice. Teacher Wen regained his senses and nodded blankly. Yes, Bei Yunj had a high fever those days and her face was as red as an egg. When she came out, I even asked her how she did. She said that she didn't finish the essay and was too sleepy. All the form teachers were silent. The ending was not finished and only 1 point was deducted. Besides, she had gone to the college entrance examination with a high fever of 39 degrees Celsius. In the end, she even became the top scholar in the national college entrance examination. This college entrance examination was a nightmare for others. It had even been trending many times because the questions were too difficult. But this person seemed to be unaffected. Qin Youjiao added 20 points and was still more than 10 points behind her. What kind of godlike standard was this? She did very well. Teacher Wen was surprised. If it wasn't for the fact that the others couldn't find any traces of acting on Teacher Wen's face, they would definitely beat him up. The form teachers were expressionless. Can't you King see for yourself? Teacher Wen walked to the computer in confusion, but when he saw Bei Yunji's results, he almost fell back. His mind seemed to have been blown. Zhuang Yuan. Mr. Wen's face was full of horror. He didn't expect that his first student would be a national champion. The homeroom teachers, what to do? Seeing this idiot's expression, he was even more annoyed. At this time, the homeroom teacher of Class 1 also had an extremely ugly expression on his face. The homeroom teacher of Class 5 could not help but ask, "Didn't you ask her how she did on the exam?" "Mr. Wen, how would I dare to ask? She said her results were average." At that time, he was afraid that Bei Yunji would be in a bad mood and do something stupid. "Everyone else, you call this average?" Under the death stares of a group of people, Teacher Wen could only brace himself and call Bei Yunji. However, after calling 4 or 5 times, the other party finally picked up. "Speak." The other party's clear and melodious voice was slightly hoarse, revealing a hint of impatience. Bei Yunji didn't even look at the note. "Everyone, was this the temper of the national champion?" Teacher Wen. "Yunji, have you checked the results?" Chapter 1135. Hearing Teacher Wen's voice, Bei Yunji was silent for a moment. "No." "Then, aren't you going to take a look?" Teacher Wen hinted crazily. Unexpectedly, the other party didn't say anything at first. Not long after, she laughed lazily. "Old one, there's no need to cast a shadow over my dear classmates at such a happy age, right?" This person was still the most arrogant. Teacher Wen was speechless. All the form teachers were speechless. Teacher Wen couldn't help but ask, "Aren't you afraid that you'll perform badly?" Bei Yunji was silent for a moment, then gently pressed her closed eyes with her palm. "Old one, I hope you understand that I'm having a high fever, not that my brain is damaged." Teacher Wen was speechless. At this moment, the atmosphere became even stranger and colder. In the end, when he hung up the phone, Teacher Wen was still in a daze. Bei Yunji also got out of bed and prepared to wash up. Downstairs, Old Master Qin was still drinking tea and playing cards with his mahjong partners. "Old Su, don't you think that National Politics University can build a few more buildings?" Old Master Qin hinted crazily. Principal Su was speechless. "What are you trying to do? Did something happen to my granddaughter during the college entrance examination? She had a high fever and didn't perform well." This was the first time Old Master Qin had shamelessly asked for connections. After all, Qin Luyan and the rest went to either Nili University or Yunqing University. "No. Absolutely not." Principal Su immediately rejected him. He was wondering why this old fox asked him to play cards every day. After going around in circles, this was what he was waiting for. One had to know that Country A's University of Political Science and Law was a top-notch university in the country. As the principal, if he used his position for personal gain, wouldn't he be stepping on the reputation of the University of Political Science and Law and crazily testing the edge of danger? Principal Su rolled his eyes. "Can you do it? Don't make things difficult for me. At most, I can give you a special bonus, but it won't be much." With that said, Principal Su sensed that something was wrong again. "No, I heard that the admissions teams of Beichuan and Yun University specially went to look for your granddaughter. How could she not do well?" As soon as he finished speaking, the 2 mahjong partners beside him pinched his thigh and gave him a hint with their eyes. Why didn't this old Su listen to any gossip? As expected. Old Master Qin was silent for a moment before he said lightly, Old Su, my granddaughter's name is Bei Yunj. You've been in Neely for the past 2 years, so you still don't know the situation. When Principal Su heard this, he immediately fell silent. After more than half a lifetime, who wouldn't be an expert? As for the other two, it was more or less a pity. Everyone in the industry had witnessed Qin Youjiao's excellence in all aspects back then. It was a pity that she was not the Qin family's biological child. The only reason he lost was because he didn't reincarnate well. Suddenly, a voice from outside the door intruded on their conversation. Dad, do you have to be so biased? Old Master Qin turned around and saw that it was Mother Qin. His face darkened and he became more vigilant. What are you doing here? For the past few days, the last thing he wanted was for Mother Qin to appear at the old mansion and use Qin Youjiao's grades to provoke Bei Yunj. After all, Mother Qin was Bei Yunj's biological mother. Old Master Qin was afraid that Bei Yunj would be sad. However, what Old Master Qin was thinking was exactly what Mother Qin was thinking. However, the difference was that Mother Qin had come this time to help Qin Youjiao regain her face. Jiao Jiao scored 736 points. I want to hold a banquet for Jiao Jiao and hope you can come too. Chapter 1136. Hearing this, Old Master Qin was so angry that his face flushed red. His fingers trembled as he pointed at Mrs. Qin, who was wearing a cheongsam embroidered with white orchids. Why you don't have any conscience as a mother? Almost everyone knew that Bei Yunj had gone for the college entrance examination with a high fever. Even Mr. Qin had come to show concern a few times, so it was impossible for Mrs. Qin not to know. But at this time, she was helping Qin Youjiao to show off. Mrs. Qin pursed her lips. Then, she continued to laugh coldly stubbornly. Dad, you're the one who's biased. If you didn't care about Jiao Jiao's life at all, I wouldn't have done this. Jiao Jiao is the child I raised for more than 10 years, but you only have Bei Yunj in your heart. Hearing Old Master Qin and his daughter-in-law arguing on the spot, Principal Su and the rest were a little embarrassed. You! Old Master Qin was so angry that his heart hurt. His mahjong friends hurriedly helped him sit down. I won't go. Our Qin family only has one young lady. Old Master Qin said with a dark expression. Hearing this, anger burned in Mrs. Qin's eyes. She laughed coldly and glanced at the person beside her. Even Principal Su is here. Dad, you're too biased. If Jiao Jiao didn't do well this time, would you be willing to find connections for her? No. Old Master Qin said expressionlessly. It was not just Qin Youjiao. Even if Qin Luyan and the rest did not do well in the college entrance examination, Old Master Qin would not find any connections for them even if he made them repeat their studies. However, when Mrs. Qin heard this answer, her expression still twisted slightly. But in the next second, from the corner of her eye, Mrs. Qin saw Bei Yunj coming down from upstairs and suddenly smiled elegantly. Dad, did you not come to Jiao Jiao's banquet because Bei Yunj did well in the exam? This sentence almost infuriated Old Master Qin. If it wasn't for the fact that the men of the Qin family had been taught to never hit women, he would have picked up his walking stick. But Dad, don't worry. Even if you don't treat Jiao Jiao as your granddaughter, Jiao Jiao still hopes that she will be filial to you. The phone number and address she left for the college entrance examination was also from our old mansion. Mrs. Qin's smile was deliberate. As a child of the Qin family, how can she embarrass the Qin family? You, cough cough cough, Old Master Qin was so angry that he felt dizzy. Grandpa. At this moment, Bei Yunj walked over to help Old Master Qin calm down. She had only heard a little of the conversation just now. She asked unhurriedly, "What are you talking about?" Nothing much. When Old Master Qin saw his granddaughter, his voice became much gentler. This surprised Principal Su and the others. One had to know that even with Qin Youjiao back then, Old Master Qin had never spoken in such a loving tone. This is Yunj, right? How are your college entrance examination results? The moment Principal Su opened his mouth, he subconsciously asked about the results. This caused Old Master Qin's death gaze to fall on him. It's all right. Bei Yunj, on the other hand, looked natural. Principal Su couldn't help but ask, how many points? Bei Yunj, not yet. Old Master Qin, Principal Su and his mahjong friends were speechless. This kind of confidence was indeed rare. Mother Qin couldn't help but scoff. She said sarcastically, if you're not good, then you're not good. How good is that? Have you had enough? Old Master Qin's voice was stern. Mrs. Qin's face paled slightly and she didn't continue. Bei Yunj glanced at Mrs. Qin with interest and chuckled softly. Mrs. Qin felt inexplicably uncomfortable. She was about to say something when someone came from outside. It was the principals of Yun University and Beichuan University. P.S. There's still one more chapter. You guys sleep first. End of this chapter. Chapter 1137. Excuse me, is this Old Master Qin's house? The two principals had just arrived and were still a little nervous. After all, they had met outstanding candidates with good family backgrounds, but this was the first time they had met someone with such a good family background. It was at least a few hundred meters from the entrance of the old mansion to the living room. However, when Mrs. Qin saw this, she thought that they were here to look for Qin Youjiao. She was a little flattered. Principal Xiang, Principal Tan, why did you come personally today? Didn't you call Jiao Jiao yesterday? Hearing this, Old Master Qin thought that they were here to look for Qin Youjiao and his expression darkened. He almost chased them away on the spot. Tong Yueying, I'm warning you. This is the last time. Old Master Qin's tone was dark. This made the principals of Yun University and Beichuan University feel inexplicably guilty and afraid. No way. Was Old Master Qin so angry just because they didn't call Bei Yunj yesterday? Old Master Qin, this matter is related to your biological granddaughter after all. You should listen calmly. Am I her mother? Can't you talk to her mother? Old Master Qin's tone was extremely irritable. The principals of Yun University and Beichuan University shrank their heads. They were indeed the family of the top scholar in the country. How arrogant. Then. Mrs. Qin, let's talk. The principal of Yun University smiled stiffly at Mrs. Qin. You're too polite to come here personally. I really don't know what to say. However, Mrs. Qin was very happy and smiled brightly. However, if Principal Xiang and Principal Tan are free, would you be willing to attend my daughter's banquet in 2 days? Banquet? The principal of Yun University was stunned for a moment before he smiled. Of course. It's only right. After all, she's the top scholar in the country. We should celebrate. However, the moment he finished speaking, Principal Su and the rest looked at Mrs. Qin and the rest instinctively. The top scholar in the country. There was actually a living top scholar in their circle. However, Mrs. Qin's smile stiffened. Top scholar? Principal Xiang, are you mistaken? My Jiao Jiao is ranked second in city and only fourth in the country. Of course not. Halfway through his words, the principal of Yun University immediately regained his senses. Wait. Who told you it's student Qin? I'm talking about Bei Yunj. Suddenly, the atmosphere fell into a dead silence. However, the principal of Yun University was still talking non-stop. I really didn't expect that student Pei would actually score 749 points in the college entrance examination, which was unprecedentedly difficult. I heard that it was because you didn't finish your essay, so 1 point was deducted, right? Initially, the grading teachers wanted to deduct 2 or 3 marks, but a senior teacher liked student Pei's essay very much. He couldn't stand the deduction of 2 or 3 marks and sent it to the higher-ups for approval. In the end, only 1 mark was deducted. Gu scored 749 points. Old Master Qin asked incoherently in disbelief. The Beichuan headmaster hesitated. You won't even check the score? Could this be the family of the national champion? He was already so confident. Old Master Qin was speechless. What should he say? Not only did he not check the scores, but he even let his granddaughter get in through the back door. Principal Su was also silent. If he had agreed to let old Master Qin go through the back door, would he have made a fortune today? It can't be. Surnamed Su, you're from a political school, yet you're here to snatch the top scorer from us? Beichuan's principal had a wary look on his face. Principal Su was speechless. Speaking of which, you might not believe it, but I just rejected the application of the family of the college entrance examination's top scholar. P.S. Good night, good boys. Chapter 1138. Principal Su was expressionless and his heart was numb. Shut up. Bei Yunj? Suddenly, Mrs. Qin seemed to have lost control of her mind. She looked up at the principal of Yun University and denied agitatedly, "How is this possible? How can she be first in the national examination? She cheated. She must have cheated." However, these words also attracted the cold eyes and disgust of several university principals. The dignified matriarch of the Qin family actually said such words. As a mother, how could she be so biased? It's not strange for student Pei to be the top scorer of the national examination. After all, this child was also first in the previous joint examination. The principal of Yun University changed his attitude. Beside him, the principal of Beichuan rolled his eyes. After finding out that Bei Yunj was seriously ill for the college entrance examination, someone posted on WeChat at night that the heavens were jealous of geniuses. So she's the first in the joint examination? Principal Su was shocked. When he heard this news before he returned to the country, he was also shocked for a long time. After all, the difficulty of that paper far exceeded the college entrance examination level. But in the end, someone actually scored full marks. All of a sudden, Principal Su looked at old Master Qin with a complicated gaze and even a little twisted. Good fellow. So this was what this old fox meant when he said that she didn't do well? Because she could score full marks previously, but now, she actually lost 1 mark? In the end, old Master Qin was beaming with joy, wishing he could announce this great news to the world. Bei Yunj suddenly said, "Grandpa, I've made an appointment with my classmates. Can I go out to play?" Before old Master Qin could speak, several principals beside him stopped Bei Yunj. "Student Pei, why don't you consider Beichuan? Our Beichuan physics department is an ace major. As long as you're willing, you can enter any professor's laboratory." Beside him, the principal of Yun University was not to be outdone. Don't listen to him. Every major in Yun University is good. And there are many scholarships. Principal Su, who couldn't interrupt, was filled with endless regret. This was the consequence of being stupid back then. If he had found out that Bei Yunj was first in the joint examination before he rejected her, he would have brought her to school no matter what. Then, the principal of Yun University suddenly played the emotional card. "Yunj, you know that old Master Bai is the former principal of Yun University. Isn't coming to Yun University like returning to your happy hometown?" Bei Yunj, the principal of Beichuan, was not to be outdone either. "Yunj, you know that Elder Zhong is my teacher. If you want to come to Beichuan, more than half of the professors here are Elder Zhong's juniors." Mrs. Qin's face turned ashen when she saw the noisy scene. She gritted her teeth and felt like she had been slapped in the face. Mother Qin took a deep breath. She didn't want to stay here for even a second longer. She turned around and left. At this time, Bei Yunj's eyelids also twitched. About choosing a school. I'll listen to my grandfather. After that, Bei Yunj left quickly. Only old Master Qin was left standing there in a daze. However, a few seconds later, the principals and old Master Qin looked at each other. Half a minute passed. Old Master Qin suddenly became noble and cold. He sat back on the sofa and said, "Old Shao, you should all go back early." Hearing this, the other 2 card players knew that this was about to start and immediately left. Before the other three principals could react, they heard Old Master Qin ask in a reserved manner, "Do all of you know how to play cards?" The principal of Yun University, ? The principal of Beichuan, ? Principal Su. Chapter 1139. A few minutes later. The three principals were forced to play cards with Old Master Qin. Old Master Qin said with a smile, emphasizing the last three words. Come, come, come. Don't give in to me just because I have a granddaughter who is the top scholar in the college entrance examination. The principals were speechless. Good fellow. They wanted to play a few rounds seriously, but with this old man saying this, who would be stupid enough to play seriously? They had all lived for more than half their lives, so who wouldn't understand what he meant? The principals, who had been praised for half their lives, could only agree with a smile and seriously lose money to play with him. Especially Principal Su, who was smiling insincerely. This old thing was not letting him go. It was obvious that he wanted to take back the money he had won previously. For the entire afternoon, Old Master Qin had a lot of fun and only sent the three principals away in the evening. His face was filled with the joy of victory. Principal Xiang, come again next time. Why yes, please wait. There was a stiff smile on Principal Yun's face, but his heart was about to break down. He never wanted to come to this godforsaken place again. After the principals left, Old Master Qin put his hands behind his back and returned to the living room arrogantly. After a while, he went upstairs to change his clothes. About half an hour later, Qin Lang had just returned to the old mansion when he was shocked by Old Master Qin in the living room. You. What are you wearing? A dragon robe? Qin Lang asked, speechless. Old Master Qin stood in front of the mirror and looked at his bright yellow Tongshan suit, but his tone was indifferent and pretentious. How is it? I'll wear this at the banquet. Qin Lang was speechless. Do you want me to make you a king's crown? Gu isn't here, right? Qin Lang couldn't be bothered with the crazy old Master Qin and sighed. I heard that Qin Yojiao got second in the city. I hope she doesn't know about this. Do you think Gu is like you? She only scored so little for the college entrance examination. Old Master Qin looked at him with disdain. Qin Lang was speechless. How much did Gu score? Qin Lang looked up and asked. 749. Old Master Qin raised his chin with a look of disdain. Unlike you, Yunda on your card. Just now, the principals of Yun University, Beichuan, and Guizheng were playing cards with me. Qin Lang, no wonder this old man already thought of himself as an emperor and started to wear dragon robes. After Qin Lang finished despising him in his heart, he quickly went upstairs and secretly posted on his WeChat moments to show off. Bei Yunj had only come out to hide from the principals. After calling Song Yao, she found out that Song Yao had gotten 9th place in the city and would definitely enter Yun University. Computing Institute. Master Pei is awesome. He casually became the top scorer in the country with a high fever, Si Qingyan teased. In the afternoon, the news that the top scholar of the college entrance examination was suffering from a high fever and was 1 point away from getting full marks had spread. Was this the world of the big shots? She should be coming to my faculty, right? Si Qingyan asked excitedly. Bei Yunj didn't even raise her head. Are you going to teach me? Si Qingyan was speechless. What kind of question was this? I haven't thought about it yet. I just want to make the old man happy by taking the college entrance exam. Bei Yunj said slowly. Just don't leave Yun City. You can go anywhere. Si Qingyan was scrolling through the trending topics as usual. Suddenly, he saw a novel trending topic and clicked on it. After a while, he laughed coldly. What's wrong? Bei Yunj asked. Si Qingyan seemed to have thought of something and chuckled. Nothing. Today, Qin Yojiao was checking the live stream and the news of her coming in second place in the city immediately became a trending topic. Chapter 1140. Hashtag Qin Youjiao ranked second in the city for the college entrance examination. Hashtag Qin Youjiao's college entrance examination. Hashtag several terms were on the trending searches and reached the top within a while. It was obvious that Qin Youjiao was doing this to embarrass Bei Yunj. She thought that Bei Yunj had really gone to the examination hall with a high fever and would definitely fail this time. Therefore, she wanted to use the opportunity to step on Bei Yunj and embarrass Bei Yunj on the internet. After all, Bei Yunj had brothers like Qin Yu and Qin Lang who were naturally popular, so it was very easy for her to become popular. Besides, Bei Yunj and Qin Youjiao had always had a grudge against each other. The netizens had always liked to watch a good show. Very soon, all of these entries were quickly left with comments. Ah, Jiao Jiao is so awesome. Second in the city, I wouldn't even dare to do this in my dreams. Is this the scene of the fallen princess of a wealthy family fighting back? Sob, I will always love the female lead the most. Jiao Jiao, charge. Since she's on the trending searches, let's recommend my sister Jiao Jiao. She's the youngest member of the International Musicians Association and the second top student in the college entrance examination. It seems like the princess is still a princess. She went to Nili for a year and returned to the country to get second in the city. I wonder how the real young lady did for the college entrance examination this time. It said that the real young lady had a high fever of 39 degrees during the college entrance examination. It has spread throughout Hengda. She's probably done for this time and will be beaten up by Qin Youjiao. No way, right? Is someone worthy of being compared to my Jiao Jiao? A high fever is not an excuse. If she can't win, she can't win. The netizens left comments quickly, wanting to find out how many marks Bei Yunj had scored. There were also some fans of Qin Lang and Qin Yu who were defending Bei Yunj rationally. After all, sister-in-law's fans could only do this much. At home, Qin Youjiao scrolled through the trending comments and the ridicule on her lips deepened. So what if Bei Yunj returned to the Qin family? Wasn't she still inferior to her? Was she still going to be trampled under her feet? Qin Youjiao lay on the sofa and continued to look at the trending searches. However, from the corner of her eye, she saw two trending terms. Hashtag national top scorer 749 points. Hashtag crying. Qin Youjiao furrowed her eyebrows and felt a little uncomfortable, but she still clicked on this entry. What do you mean by a real big shot? Compared to Qin Youjiao's 716 plus 20 privilege points, this person was the real father. This year's examinees had been beaten to the standard of teaching them how to be human. He did not finish the Chinese literature essay and only lost 1 mark, earning him 149 marks. Full marks for all other subjects. The netizens couldn't help but worship the big boss. The examinees from the same cohort had been rubbed against each other. How could they get 749 points? Is he an immortal? I'm dying of laughter. Qin Youjiao just became a trending topic. Why are you so fat? Are you deliberately trying to embarrass our universe's #1 female lead, Sister Jiao? Dog head, I can't let my mom see this trending topic. I'm already getting beaten up in the same school as the top scorer. Goodbye. Why? She has a high fever of 39 degrees Celsius and she can F*King reach 749? What the F*CK, taking the exam while sick? So fierce? I can prove that it's true. I'm a Hengda alumnus too. TSK. Qin Youjiao is too good at acting. He didn't even take her seriously, but she had to come and provoke the big boss? Hey, what do you mean by that? Why don't I understand? Don't ask. If you ask, she's the real young lady. The passers-by were confused when they saw the few alumni talking in riddles. What did this have to do with the real young lady? But a few minutes later, someone could not sit still and reposted the official media's post. Qin Yu, she's better than her brother. Yunxing Daily, come and enter the world of the goddess of studying. She scored 749 points in the hellish college entrance examination. The editor is crying too. Picture, P.S. There's one more chapter. Chapter 1141. Very quickly. Some people were unwilling to fall behind. Crushed Qin Lang, welcome to the 4th university student in our family, who will always be my little Rose. Yun City Daily, come and enter the world of the goddess of studying. She scored 749 points in the Hell-level college entrance examination. The editor is crying too. Picture, Qin Corporation, #Queen's Behavior #Eldest Young Miss Go. Yun City Daily, come and enter the world of the goddess of studying. She scored 749 points in the Hell-level college entrance examination. The editor is crying too. Picture, this time, the entire internet exploded. What was going on? Qin Yu and Qin Lang only had one younger sister, and Qin Youjiao had left the Qin family long ago. Then, the top scholar of the country was Bai Yunj? Is it what I think? The top scholar of the college entrance examination is a real young lady? The person above, be more serious. She's the top scholar of the National College Entrance Examination. Cat head, F***CK, F***CK, so she took the exam while sick and even got first place in the National College Entrance Examination in the end? I'm vomiting from laughing. Sister Jiao Jiao's fan who had a bad mouth just now, come and kowtow to the top scholar's father. Ha 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 ha, isn't this too embarrassing? She can score 749 points even when she's sick. What about Sister Jiao Jiao? How can Sister Jiao Jiao continue acting as the female lead? To be honest, the real young lady satisfies all my fantasies of a rich young lady. She keeps a low profile and doesn't care about any comments from the outside world. She accepts all the scolding and praises. Compared to this, Qin Youjiao is so low. The real young lady actually has a good reputation in school. She looks cold and not to be trifled with, but she's also a human. If it wasn't for the school bell from number 1 high school watching her too closely, I'm willing to be a ghost under senior's skirt. The moment these words fell, it resonated with many people. Every time they wanted to go up and chat up Bai Yunj and ask for her WeChat, Song Yao's smiling face beside her made their scalps turn numb. These days, the school bell was also digested internally. However, seeing this, Qin Youjiao's face had already turned pale. She bit her lip tightly and stared fixedly at the screen. How was that possible? Bai Yunj scored 749 points. She was the first in the country? Jiao Jiao? I bought you a cake you like. Mrs. Qin did not mention Bai Yunj, as she did not want Qin Youjiao. However, Qin Youjiao immediately walked towards Mrs. Qin. Mom, how many marks did Bai Yunj get? She's the national champion? Mrs. Qin panicked, not expecting Qin Youjiao to find out so quickly. However, when Mother Qin thought about how the principals of Beichuan and Yun University had gone to visit Old Master Qin because of Bai Yunj, she could only bite the bullet and say, yes. Qin Youjiao thought of the trending topic she had deliberately bought just now. Looking at it now, it was a slap to her face. Instantly, her face turned green and red. She took a step back and couldn't help but shake her head. How could it be? Impossible, she's clearly a trash. Hearing Qin Youjiao say this about Bai Yunj, Mrs. Qin felt inexplicably stifled. However, she comforted her very quickly. Jiao Jiao, it's not what you think. There are top scorers in the country every year, but you're the youngest member of the International Musicians Association. This is understandable. International Musicians Association, Qin Youjiao muttered before she suddenly regained her senses and remembered something. Bai Yunj had also been to Nili and even became a member of the International Musicians Association because she cheated. However, she had also been reported. Although she did not know what happened after, but at least she could use this to make Bai Yunj unable to make a comeback and become a street rat that everyone hated. Mom, you're right. I'm the youngest C-rank member of the International Musicians Association. Qin Youjiao suddenly smirked and turned to go upstairs, having an idea. P.S. Good night. Qin Youjiao couldn't do anything anymore. This time, she would be the first to teach her a lesson. Chapter 1142. On this day, Qin Youjiao was almost trembling with anger from this group of people on the internet. However, she did not know who was behind it, and it reached the top of the trending searches. No matter how she tried to find connections, she could not remove it. However, after 2 days, the popularity of this post disappeared quickly. It was obvious that someone was protecting Bei Yunj. This knowledge almost made Qin Youjiao's eyes turn red with jealousy. However, in the past few days, Bei Yunj had been busy with the establishment and expansion of Higgins Corporation's double headquarters and did not care about anything else. It was also because of Higgins Corporation's double headquarters announcement on the internet that it attracted the attention of many people and even became a trending topic. 2 days later, because of Shang Yan's handsome interview, Higgins Corporation became famous in the country. After all, Higgins Corporation had launched a series of high-tech products this year and had directly entered the top 10 global enterprises and the top 1 in the future business potential rankings. And for such a mega corporation to be able to build a new headquarters in Yuncheng, it was indeed very attractive internationally. After all, to a certain extent, this would definitely raise the level of scientific research in the country and drive the economic development of Yuncheng. Therefore, many research institutes in Country A were already trying to contact the person in charge of Higgins Corporation. However, it was said that the current heir of Higgins Corporation never appeared. And most of the things were handled by President Shang, at the headquarters of Higgins Yuncheng. Bei Yunj had just arrived when she sized up the international design of this building. It was obvious that it was a foreign company. Her eyebrows moved, but she did not say anything. She pressed down on the brim of her hat and walked in. The people in charge of various companies were already gathered in the hall on the first floor. This scene was shocking. After all, these people were all famous people in the country. Now, they were gathered together to think of a way to meet the higher-ups of Higgins Corporation. They all had proposals in their hands, hoping to get the favor of the person in charge. Inadvertently, Bei Yunj even heard a familiar voice that she had not heard for a long time. President Sheng is really amazing to be able to handle his own business at such a young age. Someone praised from the side. Cheng Zihuai, who had always been arrogant among his peers, only smiled modestly. Father said that he wanted me to come out and experience more to learn from all of you. Zihuai, you're too humble. You are also an outstanding talent in the Qingchong Computing Center. Higgins has always paid attention to scientific research, so I'm guessing that the first company they'll choose to work with will be the Qing Corporation. At this point, everyone looked at Cheng Zihuai with admiration and more or less hostility. However, Cheng Zihuai was already used to such gazes. He still smiled and said, "Our Qing Corporation really wants to cooperate with Higgins Group, but I also heard that the Qing Corporation is also preparing to develop in the direction of scientific research." However, when he scolded her, his tone was filled with mockery. CEO Qin's appetite is too big. He wants to poke his nose into everything. The Qing Corporation is a veteran technology company. No matter what aspect they are at, they won't lose. A dark light flashed across Cheng Zihuai's eyes. He was determined to get the opportunity to work with Higgins this time. Thus, he would never allow the Qin clan to become his obstacle. Fortunately, Qin Youjiao had already left the Qin family, so he had nothing to worry about. What's more, Bei Yunj, who made him feel disgusted, was still in the Qin family. Cheng Zihuai couldn't hide the sarcasm on his face. Bei Yunj only had this little trick up her sleeve. Which of her brothers deliberately targeted Yu Jiao? End of chapter. Chapter 1143. However, a burst of noise interrupted Cheng Zihuai's train of thought. Director Kong. I finally get to see you today. Everyone brought their own business plan and quickly walked to Kong Kuoju. In fact, this kind of thing would not be done by the person in charge of the company. But who wouldn't want to leave a good impression on Director Higgins? Initially, Kong Kuoju had come to find Niayu. However, he did not know what urgent matter Niayu had and could not find him. As soon as he went downstairs, he saw the person in charge of the company blocking the hall. Is this an invitation for cooperation? Kong Kwoju said lightly, and his eyes were somewhat arrogant. Then come to the second floor with me for a good chat. Hearing this, a trace of relief flashed across Cheng Zihuai's eyes. Indeed, Kong Kwoju was in charge of this business cooperation. Since this was the case, he had an advantage over everyone else. After all, Kong Kwoju's family also had a small company that had been cooperating with the Qing Corporation. Zihuai, I haven't seen you for a few years. How is Uncle Cheng? Kong Kwoju asked with a smile. Everyone could not help but look at Cheng Zihuai with envy. They did not expect Cheng Zihuai to connect with the people of the Higgins group so quickly. Cheng Zihuai also smiled. He was determined to win this cooperation. Father is very good. He has always been thinking about you and Uncle Kong. Soon. After everyone had chatted for a while in the conference room on the second floor, a woman suddenly rushed in. Sorry for being late. I am Chiu Han from the Qin Corporation. Chiu Han smiled apologetically. However, she was not reserved. Or else, she would not have become the only female executive of the Qin Corporation. But soon, the people next to her sneered. What is this? The Qin Corporation only sent a woman over? It seems that Director Qin is very arrogant. Chiu Han said lightly, Director Qin has an important meeting today and can't be here. However, I also believe that Director Qin's sincerity for this cooperation is no less than anyone else's. You make it sound nice. The others looked at Chiu Han with ridicule in their eyes. Someone even asked with a frivolous smile, or is CEO Qin trying to take us by surprise? Sending a beauty to the door? After she finished speaking, everyone at the scene looked at her with wretched eyes. Chiu Han endured it and sat on the seat on the side. She quietly waited for her appointment. At this time, Cheng Zihuai said calmly, the Qin family has a long reach now. They want to get everything. Zihuai, didn't you and Qin Yojiao? Kong Kwoju raised his eyebrows. Why do you not seem to like the Qin family? Yu Jiao is not the biological daughter of the Qin family. She was chased out of the Qin family a long time ago. As for the real daughter that was sent back, she's very good at handling matters. Cheng Zihuai's tone was filled with disgust, and Kong Kwoju quickly understood. Kong Kwoju smiled and said, so that's how it is. However, this is not a big deal. Leave it to me. On the top floor. This was the first time Yu had faced Bei Yunja's high-pressure aura, and he felt a chill run down his spine. What do you mean? Are you trying to fool me with something like this? Bei Yunja's face was expressionless. She threw the things on the table and suppressed her anger. Yu picked up the proposal and flipped through it, but he didn't notice anything wrong. But not long after, Yu suddenly remembered something. He borrowed the computer to check the data and found that there were many problems with the expenditure of the Public Welfare Fund. It was a fake account, Miss Pei, this really isn't my fault, Yu panicked. He finally knew why Bei Yunj was angry. Chapter 1144. This time, someone had injected money into the Higgins Group's public welfare fund planning in order to earn a few 100 million yuan. Yu thought that Bei Yunj was just like other people from other groups who wanted to make a public welfare fund to earn a good reputation. Therefore, he didn't care too much about the development of this plan. However, he didn't expect Bei Yunj to come over today and step on Bei Yunj's bottom line repeatedly. Do I care if you did it? Bei Yunj smiled faintly. There was no warmth in his eyes. Every word he said hit Yu's heart and made him tremble. What's the difference between a traitor and an idiot? Yu's scalp went numb. This proposal and the detailed information at the bottom were very thick. In the past, he had always thought that Bei Yunj was a scientific research genius. However, when it came to the company, he could only rely on Shang Yan. However, reality poured a bucket of cold water on him. Not only did Bei Yunj have an amazing memory, but he was also very familiar with business. He could remember the contents and data analysis of these plans after reading them once and even see the loopholes. Get rid of all the rotten and useless people in the company. If you don't want to stay here, you can give me the next proposal. I'll also talk to Shang Yan about it. Bei Yunj tried to maintain a calm tone, but it still made Niayu shiver. Niayu couldn't help but look at Bei Yunj again. While he was afraid of Bei Yunj, this was the first time he truly recognized this person as the successor of Higgins Group. Yes. Mississippi, Niayu hurriedly responded. For the next half an hour, Niayu braced himself and listened to Bei Yunj's correction of the proposal and the data of the historical information. He was scared witless. Niayu could also see that Bei Yunj was suppressing his anger, so he was afraid that in the next moment, Bei Yunj would come up and strangle him and ask him if he wanted to die. It had to be said that although Bei Yunj was unwilling to take over at first, as long as he took over, he wouldn't allow Higgins Group to live off its previous assets like before. Have you remembered everything I asked you to do? Bei Yunj's voice sounded. Yes, Mississippi. Niayu's heart was numb. He looked at these plans and realized that none of them had survived Bei Yunj's hands. He suddenly began to miss Boss Shang, who had laughed and asked him if he had a brain. At least it was better than this big boss who would shoot arrows from the back when he was working. Finally, Bei Yunj was ready to leave. She did not ask Niayu to accompany her downstairs. Niayu also collapsed on the sofa as if he had just escaped death. Bei Yunj pressed down on the brim of her hat. She was still in a bad mood. She did not expect the people sent by Shang Yan to be so unreliable. However, the next moment, the elevator door opened. Bei Yunj followed him out and realized that she had taken the wrong turn. This was the second floor. Bei Yunj snapped out of her daze. Before she left, she glanced at the people who were talking about cooperation not far away. She suddenly felt comforted. The people in this company weren't that bad. There was still hope. With this thought in mind, Bei Yunj was about to go down when she suddenly heard a familiar voice. Oh, Miss Chiu is making a scene here. Miss Qin has also graced us with her presence. Bei Yunj stopped in her tracks. She was sure that this Miss Qin was referring to her. Bei Yunj had just turned her head when she saw Chiu Han looking at a man with a beer belly with an ugly expression. Bei Yunj had been to the Qin Corporation a few times, so she knew Chiu Han. She was a rather gentle but swift woman. Miss Chiu, I said that you can leave with your plans. Kong Kuoju did not hide his deliberate targeting. Chapter 1145. Director Kong, you haven't even seen my proposal. How do you know that Higgins doesn't need to work with us? Chiu Han did not care about being wronged in the workplace, but she was angry at their hostile attitude towards the Qin family. Isn't it obvious enough? I mean, don't waste time. Our corporation will never work with the Qin family. After Kong Kuoju had finished speaking, he suddenly took out a cigarette and smiled while biting it. However, if Miss Chiu didn't want to stay and chat with me because of work, I wouldn't mind. Such malicious humiliation caused the surrounding people to jeer and laugh. Miss Chiu, don't joke around. That's right, men don't like such an ugly expression. Chiu Han suppressed the anger in her heart and could only reveal a smile. The research institute that has strategic cooperation with the Qin family is the top research institute in the country. We have the best team. Suddenly, Kong Kuoju sized Chiu Han up and asked, Miss Chiu, what are your measurements? Instantly, Chiu Han's face flushed red. It was the first time she had been humiliated in public. Suddenly, a slow voice sounded from the side. What, are you planning to get a boob job and a butt? These words caused everyone's smile to freeze and the atmosphere to become cold. Kong Kuoju's face turned green and red. Eldest Missy, Chiu Han did not know why Bei Yunj would appear here. She did not expect that the eldest Missy's first sentence would be so fierce. If she offended Kong Kuoju, she might offend Higgins in the future. Chiu Han panicked for no reason. Just when she wanted to say something to remedy the situation, she heard Bei Yunj's question. Who allowed you to smoke here? Everyone. It was the first time they saw someone being so unreasonable in someone else's company. Chiu Han immediately pulled Bei Yunj behind her. Director Kong, since we can't work out this time, I will find you next time. After she had finished speaking. Just when Xiao Han wanted to leave, she was stopped by Kong Kuoju. He asked with a cold smile, "What do you mean? You want to leave?" Bei Yunj, who was pulled behind Xiao Han, remembered that this mess was hers. The stolen proposal of a few $100 million was also hers. The people who were smoking in the conference room were all her employees. Bei Yunj couldn't help but laugh in anger. What a lousy company. If it weren't for Nancy's stubbornness, she wouldn't have taken over such a rotten company. However, in everyone's ears, Bei Yunj's words became a blatant provocation. The eldest daughter of the Qin family is really something. She doesn't even like Higgins Group. Someone immediately gloated. Director Kong, did you see it clearly? This is the attitude of the Qin family. Xiao Han's face darkened. You, at this moment. Cheng Ziwai's tone was also cold as he mocked, Bei Yunj, I advise you not to cause trouble for your brother. The Qin can't afford to offend the Higgins Group. So this is the famous young lady of the Qin family. Kong Kuoju said sarcastically, I didn't expect that in Miss Pei's eyes, our company would become a lousy company. Director Kong, before Xiao Han could finish speaking, she was interrupted by Kong Kuoju. I said, as long as I'm here, Higgins Group will never consider the Qin family. Don't you understand human language? However, after he finished shouting, suddenly, a voice sounded from behind Kong Kuoju. What happened? Kong Kuoju panicked and immediately put out the cigarette. Director Nya. Chapter 1146. As soon as Nya went downstairs, he heard the commotion inside. Kong Kuoju immediately pushed the blame and mocked, CEO Nya, people of the Qin family are causing trouble in front of our company. They are saying that Higgins is a lousy company. Xiao Han's expression changed, CEO Nya, it's not like that. Compared to a small character like Kong Kuoju, Xiao Han knew Nyayu's position in Higgins better. It's that woman next to him. Kong Kuoju immediately pointed at Bei Yunj and said viciously. Initially, Nyayu was annoyed, but when he glanced at Bei Yunj, his entire body froze. I don't know where the Qin family got the guts to humiliate our Higgins Group. However, I feel that in the future, there is no need for the Qin family to work with us. Kong Kuoju still showed an excited expression and proudly splashed dirty water on the Qin family. Instantly, Nyayu's mind went blank as if there was only a row of words left. He was dead for sure. Clearly, it was not a small matter since it could anger this ancestor to the point of scolding his company. Nyayu's entire body froze as he felt a chill run down his back. He did not know what kind of expression he should have and did not hear Xiao Han's explanation. Inwardly, he wanted to press that talkative Kong guy with cerebral palsy to the ground and hammer him. He had guts. Of all people, why did he have to provoke the worst one? CEO Nya, let's talk upstairs. Bei Yunj's tone was indiscernible. Nyayu's legs felt weak. Okay. Kong Kuoju, who was still scolding Bei Yunj, paused and did not realize that something was wrong. He watched as Bei Yunj entered the stairs first. Kong Kuoju did not forget to mock Nyayu, CEO Nya, look, Missy of the Qin family has such a bad temper that she dares to walk in front of you. Nyayu took a deep breath and resisted the urge to smash Kong Kuoju's head against the wall. Shut up. And at this moment, Xiao Han chased after them with an anxious expression. Missy Qin, let CEO Qin handle this. No need, I was the one who said he was from a lousy company. I will just apologize. Bei Yunj suppressed his anger and was rather patient with Xiao Han. Xiao Han, when someone apologized, would their face have an expression that said, I'll go upstairs and kill you? Kong Kuoju also sneered recklessly. He was still waiting upstairs to watch a good show. Seeing Kong Kuoju's expression, Nyayu was speechless. Why did he blindly recruit such a brainless thing? Xiao Han watched as the elevator door closed. Although she was anxious, she could only call Qin Luyan. On the top floor. As soon as Kong Kuoju entered the door, he continued to speak passionately. CEO Nya, a company that looks down on our group like this does not deserve to be our partner. Next. Before Kong Kuoju could finish speaking, he saw Bei Yunj sitting at the desk. This was the CEO's office. It was said that it was prepared for the boss that didn't come often. What are you doing? How dare you? Before Kong Kuoju could yell at the top of his lungs, Nya Yu suddenly said with difficulty, Miss, please, calm down. Kong Kuoju could not react for a moment. What was going on? Nya Yu was Shang Yan's subordinate and never bowed his head to anyone. Then what was going on now? How did the eldest Missy of the Qin family become the Missy that Nya Yu was talking about? This time, it's my fault for not being able to satisfy you in the initial stages of the establishment of the Cloud City headquarters, Nya Yu continued. After Kong Kuoju heard this, he seemed to have been struck by lightning. Even if he did not understand, he could more or less guess Bei Yunj's identity. He remembered that the boss of the group seemed to be a woman. P.S. Good night. Chapter 1147. Kong Kuoju looked up suddenly, his pupils constricting. How was this possible? This elder young miss of the Qin family was the boss of Higgins Corporation? Kong Kuoju felt like he was soaked in cold water. It was so cold that he knew he was finished. He had already offended the boss. Nya Yu. Bei Yunj licked his lips and chose his words carefully. I feel a little embarrassed at the thought that this lousy company is mine. However, Nya Yu started to be afraid. Then who do you want to embarrass today? Bei Yunj played with the fountain pen in his hand and suddenly laughed ambiguously. I couldn't tell that the company's gender discrimination is quite deep-rooted. Why? Can't I eat at the table during the company's higher-ups gatherings in the future? Hearing this, Nya Yu's legs almost turned to jelly. No, definitely not. Kong Kuoju shivered and did not dare to look up at Bei Yunj, especially when he thought of his death-seeking words downstairs. I said that as long as I, Kong Kuoju, am around, Higgins will never consider the Qin family. Kong Kuoju could not help but close his eyes. He had already expected his ending. He was really finished. Boss, I was really wrong. I didn't know you were. At the thought of what Qing Zihuai had said, Kong Kuoju wanted to strangle Qing Zihuai to death. Did Bei Yunj need to please her brothers and target Qin Youjiao? With this person's status, was it difficult to kill Qin Youjiao? Boss, I listened to slander. It was Qing Zihuai who said that the Qin family doesn't respect Higgins at all and is just cheating us of a cooperation opportunity. Boss, I did it for Higgins. Please forgive me this once. Kong Kuoju was still smart and knew how to shift the blame. However, Nya Yu already understood Bei Yunj's character. Kong Kuoju, you can leave Higgins now. Nya Yu's tone was cold. President Nya, boss, Kong Kuoju was unwilling. After looking at Nya Yu, he looked at Bei Yunj and a trace of darkness and cold laughter flashed past his eyes. However, after Kong Kuoju left, Bei Yunj asked unhurriedly, who did this charity fund project plan? Nya Yu suddenly reacted. His body trembled as he looked in the direction where Kong Kuoju had left. He handed this project to Kong Kuoju. No matter how he thought about it, Kong Kuo had the highest chance of doing something. We have to gather all the evidence tonight. Don't let anyone escape. After Bei Yunj finished speaking, Nya Yu quickly added, we'll gather all the evidence within 4 hours. What happened after that? Hearing this, Bei Yunj raised her eyebrows slightly and chuckled softly. She said casually, first, send a dishonest person to jail for more than 10 years before someone learns to be obedient. In his previous life, the company that Bei Yunj's grandfather had left to her was in a much better state than the current Higgins group. The higher-ups were also the backbone of the company. However, in the first 3 years of Bei Yunj's reign, he sent 7 of his subordinates to the police station. Those who had originally wanted to work for the Pei family as business spies felt a chill run down their spines. Downstairs, Kong Kuoju's expression was filled with hatred. He wanted nothing more than to destroy Bei Yunj on the spot. However, when he thought about how he had earned a lot of money from Higgins Group's projects over the years, his expression became slightly better. He cursed fiercely, F***ck, you're just a little girl. Do you really think I can't mess with you? Kong Kwoju went to pack his things with a sullen expression. Downstairs. Xiao Han paced back and forth anxiously. However, she saw Nia Yu and Bei Yunj coming down together. Chapter 1148. Xiao Han went up and quickly bowed to Nia Yu to apologize. Boss Nia, I'm really sorry. My miss. Before she could finish her sentence, a man hurried in from outside the door. His eyes were as handsome as ink, and his black hair was messy and slightly curled, but it looked sexy. His long legs under his black suit pants were especially eye-catching. Qin Luyan's voice was cold and slow, but his gaze landed on Bei Yunj. Boss Nia, my gu is young. If you want to settle the score, let's settle it. In the car just now, Qin Luyan had heard that Bei Yunj had offended Nia Yu. Bei Yunj raised his eyebrows. He was quite surprised that Qin Luyan would go against Nia Yu for his sake. Nia Yu was also a little scared. Settle the score? He dared to settle the score with boss's brother? Just now, Bei Yunj's tone was unprecedentedly gentle. Boss Qin, you must be joking. Miss Pei is very good. It's our company's negligence. We've already decided to fire Kong Kwoju as an explanation to your company. What do you think? After Nia Yu asked this, Xiao Han's head was filled with question marks. Was he serious? They had fired the founding elder of the Higgins family just to give the Qin family an explanation. A trace of emotion flashed past Qin Luyan's calm eyes before he glanced at Bei Yunj. Let's go home. Bei Yunj looked at Qin Luyan and was silent for a moment. Big brother. Qin Luyan's body froze and the indifference in his eyes melted. He only replied in a low voice, okay. Bei Yunj seemed to have remembered something. He suddenly took the document from Xiao Han's hand and stuffed it into Nia Yu's hand. Boss Nia, you should have the time to take a look at this cooperation plan, right? Bei Yunj asked casually. Nia Yu was speechless. F***ck, the boss was going to take the back door personally. Yes, miss, Nia Yu hurriedly replied. This scene was inexplicably terrifying. Boss Nia, what are you afraid of? In the car. Qin Luyan suddenly asked, Gu, you know Nia Yu? Yes. Bei Yunj did not intend to hide it. Qin Luyan did not ask further. His expression was calm, but his knuckles were faintly white. Today, his relationship with Gu had also improved a little. At the very least, Gu had taken the initiative to call him Big Brother today. At the thought of this, Qin Luyan smiled. Bei Yunj did not think about anything else. She only played with her phone and thought about visiting Song Yao's production team in the afternoon. Hua Corporation. Luo Xia took a deep breath and turned to look at Huashidu. He complained, Huashidu, this is kidnapping. I invited you to attend my union's banquet. Huashidu was still dealing with official business and did not look up at him. That college entrance exam of yours? You did well. Luo Xia couldn't help but ask. Tsing Su was even more excited than Huashidu. The top scholar of the college entrance examination. He's ranked first in the country. Huashidu was interrupted and looked up at Tsing Su indifferently. So strong? After Luo Xia finished speaking, he suddenly reacted. But wasn't she still incontinent a few days before the college entrance exam? This person is taking the exam naked? So what? Let me tell you, our Miss Pei went for the exam with a high fever. Do you know? The second in the country is 10 points lower than her. What kind of difference is this in the college entrance exam where 1 point defeats a group of people? Master Pei swept away thousands of people. Tsing Su started to ramble incoherently. The man beside him asked slowly, Tsing Su, are you done? Tsing Su was speechless. Oh no, he had snatched Master Du's chance to show off. Chapter 1149. I didn't expect that girl to be such a top student. After Luo Xia found out that Bei Yunji's family background was not bad and that she had 3 brothers who doted on her, he had always defined Bei Yunji as a useless second-generation heir. Tsingsu, go out for a while. After Tsingsu left, Huashidu said casually, what do you want to tell me? Yes, Bei Yunji. Are you playing around or serious? Luo Xia also knew that it was inappropriate for him to say this, but with Bei Yunji's condition, whether she was playing around or serious, it was quite scary. However, as soon as he finished speaking, the man stopped the pen in his hand and looked at Luo Xia calmly. He slowly capped the pen. Do you think I will waste my time looking for someone to play with? This was what Luo Xia was most afraid of. Luo Xia took a deep breath and turned on his computer again. He gave his investigation and analysis to Huashidu. He said concisely, I have based on some of the background you gave me and Bei Yunji's previous tests. From a professional point of view, she has a big problem. As a brother, I have to remind you that this is a problem. Luo Xia looked at Huashidu and did not speak. He said again, most people with serious problems like her have problems with the environment they grew up in. I have never met a patient like her, type. If it were not for the new test machine, he would not have been able to determine that there was really a problem with Bei Yunji. In other words, the most difficult thing was not Bei Yunji's condition. It was Bei Yunji's unwillingness to cooperate that he could not detect any problems with her. What are the chances of a complete cure? The man lowered his eyes and was thinking about something. I have never seen her when she has a relapse, so I can't guarantee it for you. And I can't be sure if she has inherited it. However, the biggest problem right now is her compatibility. Luo Xia was silent for a moment. Some people have a bidirectional type I disorder. There are 4 peaks. Have you been in contact with her, at that time? The man lowered his eyes and remained silent. I still want to give you a piece of advice. Little girls are the most sensitive when they're in love. Maybe you like Bei Yunji very much, but I don't know if you can stand the Bei Yunji who acts up again and again. Luo Xia sighed. I'm saying this for your own good and for her own good. In a relationship, it might be a small matter, but for a bipolar type I patient, you never knew what she would think. I once met a young woman who almost killed her husband because of a small matter. However, Huashidu only curled the corners of his lips into an ambiguous smile. He lit the cigarette at his fingertips and casually blew out a beautiful smoke ring. Really? I'm more afraid of what she'll do to me. Luo Xia was silent for a long time. Huashidu had already lost completely. Do as you wish. I can help you keep an eye on her, but blood brothers, you have to pay more. Luo Xia didn't forget to say. Okay, thanks. Afternoon. Bei Yunji's eyelids twitched as she read the script. Boss, Madam has just finished her liver removal surgery. Does she know her mistake? Madam is no longer breathing. The results show that Madam is 3 months pregnant. Bei Yunji fell into a long silence. She looked at Song Yao. You're acting as the female lead? Song Yao shook her head. I'm acting as the White Lotus, the male lead's first girlfriend. Bei Yunji thought for a long time and could only praise her. You have a future. Chapter 1150. Song Yao was speechless. Bei Yunji looked at Song Yao, who had no choice but to wear a cotton coat in the summer, and took a fan to fan Song Yao. I really think our sister Yao is quite good. Looking at Song Yao's tense face, Bei Yunji could not help but chuckle and coax her. Song Yao deliberately remained expressionless. You think I'm suitable to play the role of a White Lotus? Bei Yunji suppressed her smile and said sincerely, I think you're suitable to play the role of a first love. Indeed, Song Yao's temperament was too clean and she looked weak. It made people feel that she was not mainstream and could not play the role of the female lead. Therefore, she could usually only play the second female lead. The director beside her looked at the unbelievably beautiful girl and said something with a smile in Song Yao's ear, making Song Yao's ears turn red. The scene was so sweet that it was even more eye-catching than the scene of the male and female leads giving out candies. The director walked over and sighed. I'm Song Yao. Why don't you let your friend act with you to get the feeling? Just now, I asked you to act as a white lotus who tries to please the male lead, but you acted like you don't love men. Do you think you're worthy of your face? Song Yao was speechless. However, Pei Yunj had her head lowered. What are you laughing at? Song Yao was a little angry and bumped Pei Yunj's shoulder lightly. Pei Yunj leaned on Song Yao's shoulder and laughed until her shoulders trembled slightly. Pei Yunj leaned back lazily, her tone sounding quite sad. If it wasn't for those beautiful eyes that were curled up and attractive. Tian, you're treating me too badly. No one knew if she was complaining or acting coquettishly. This was too ostentatious. The stage supervisor's eyes lit up and they almost howled. What kind of damn beautiful love was this? She hit it. Could this be the legendary restless gold tulip who gave Song Yao a branded watch? But she was too good to Sister Song Yao. She was not impatient with Song Yao at all. Instead, she acted coquettishly. The director glanced at the male and female leads who were acting not far away, then at Pei Yunj, who was leaning against Song Yao's shoulder. His feelings were indescribable. He had lost. Yesterday, when they were filming the kissing scene for the male and female leads, the stage assistant's eyes were also empty and lifeless. But now? The stage assistants, who had stayed up the entire day filming the scenes last night, saw the two of them leaning against each other today and their eyes started to light up. Pei Yunj respected Song Yao's acting career and helped her practice her lines. For some reason, Song Yao got into the zone very easily. She was shy, in a daze, and when she was patted on the head, she didn't say anything. She wasn't a disgusting green tea, but a genuine first love. This feeling is too right. The director was a little surprised and couldn't help but glance at Pei Yunj. It had to be said that Pei Yunj's aura was really strong. Although she was a girl, it was inappropriate for her to say such sweet words to a scumbag. On the contrary, it made people want to fall in her hands and crazily want to date her. This face is too confusing. Is it a newcomer? The scriptwriter next to him could not help but sigh. Director, why don't you consider giving them a socialist sisterly relationship? I think it'll explode. The director was speechless. Can King afford it? The watches she gave Song Yao are worth tens of millions. She's that mysterious sugar daddy? The scriptwriter had a look of disbelief and excitement on his face as he said, I've actually hit the mark. Chapter 1151. When they were almost done, the director hurriedly went over and said, Song, didn't you act quite well? Why can't you match Wang Kai? The moment Song Yao thought of Wang Kai, who was the male lead, her eyebrows twitched and she suppressed the nausea in her stomach. Every time they filmed, Wang Kai liked to take advantage of Song Yao when they were acting together. Pei Yunj also saw Song Yao's expression that quickly disappeared, but she did not say anything. Suddenly, a rather handsome man walked over. However, when paired with what he thought was his most handsome expression, he looked a little oily. Director, is the next scene between me and Yao Yao? This nickname was so ambiguous that Pei Yunj's gaze turned cold. She looked up and glanced at Wang Kai calmly. Suddenly, she asked, what is this? The male lead? Wang Kai's face froze. When he saw Pei Yunj beside Song Yao, his heart was itching. He did not know where Song Yao got such a beautiful friend from. However, before he could show off in front of Pei Yunj, he heard Pei Yunj ask this. Those who did not know better would think that he was a plaything. Wang Kai, come. I'll bring you to meet Song Yao's sugar daddy, my friend. The director immediately pulled Wang Kai and teased him on purpose. The director was a discerning person. It was obvious that he did not want Wang Kai to have a conflict with Pei Yunj here. He was indirectly telling Wang Kai not to provoke Bei Yunj. Wang Kai could only give a fake smile. "Hello, I'm the male lead of this drama, Wang Kai." Bei Yunj only looked up halfway. Half of her half-smiling eyes seemed to be soaked in the shadows under the tree. Her aura already made people feel unapproachable. "Hello, I don't like others to get close to Miss Song, Bei Yunj." Song Yao was speechless. The director was speechless. The production crew almost went crazy. They could not suppress their excitement. F***ck, this greeting is so good, sister. It's amazing. Wang Kai is too pitiful. His aura was crushed. Where did Song Yao's sugar daddy get it? I want the same design. Are any sisters willing to try it? Wang Kai held it in and could only give a sullen smile. "Miss Pei, you really know how to joke." Bei Yunj tilted her head back and finished drinking the water. Then, she casually twisted the bottle of mineral water into strips and casually threw them into the trash can. She smiled lazily and said, "Really? I can't take any provocation. I'll send anyone who touches her to the hospital. Why don't you try?" As soon as he finished speaking, the mineral water bottle was smashed into the trash can. It caused everyone to tremble. At this time, the atmosphere around them had turned cold. When everyone saw Bei Yunj's irritation and half-smile in her eyes, they suddenly woke up. The big boss didn't act coquettishly to everyone. Other than Song Yao, perhaps everyone else would only be beaten up. Song Yao tugged at Bei Yunj's clothes from the side and Bei Yunj's face became slightly warmer. "Don't scare me." Song Yao could not help laughing and stuffed a candy into Bei Yunj's mouth. "Peel it yourself. My hands are dirty." Seeing this, just as everyone thought that the big boss would be angry because Song Yao treated her so casually, Bei Yunj really picked up the lychee-flavored lollipop and peeled it slowly. However, before anyone could be surprised, they saw Bei Yunj call out to someone. Song Yao turned around instinctively, wanting to ask something, but Bei Yunj suddenly stuffed the candy into Song Yao's mouth. She snorted lazily. "Who are you trying to coax? P.S. Good night." Chapter 1152. F***ck, her defense was broken. Everyone was caught off guard by this handful of candy. Was she happy to spread candy in front of them like this? However, Wang Kai's expression was extremely dark. He was extremely unwilling to let a woman steal his limelight. "Xiao Kai, take it easy." The director patted his shoulder and Wang Kai could not say anything else. For the entire afternoon, Bei Yunj was watching Song Yao's show. The gaze of death landed on Wang Kai, so much so that Wang Kai did not even dare to touch Song Yao. He was afraid that Bei Yunj would come up and twist his neck like she had twisted the mineral water bottle just now. After filming, Bei Yunj had planned to leave with Song Yao, but she heard that the production team had made a last-minute arrangement. According to Song Yao's explanation, a friend of the director was organizing an esports livestream and had arranged for a professional player to compete with a popular production team. However, on that day, more than half of the actors in the production team who had signed a contract had left. Therefore, Song Yao's director wanted to take advantage of the loopholes and gain popularity for the production team. "It's a good thing. Everyone, cheer up and perform well later," the director said excitedly. Bei Yunj stood by the side, pressing her fingers against her thumb as she narrowed her pretty eyes at the director. The director's smile suddenly froze and he felt that his life was threatened. Song Yao's sugar daddy's temper did not seem to be too good. "It should be in an hour. After the fight, I'll accompany you to buy desserts. I still have the chocolate I bought for you in my car last time." With that said, the director felt that the danger was gradually disappearing. "I don't really eat such sweet things either," Bei Yunj said. I really can't eat it. Do me a favor." Song Yao casually found an excuse for Bei Yunj. Indeed. When they arrived at the scene, the production crew saw Bei Yunj carrying a bag of snacks and walking to the first row happily with her hands in her pockets. The production crew asked hesitantly, Song, this person usually has a bad temper, right? Song Yao smiled. Occasionally, when I don't have time to care about her, she will throw a tantrum. She's usually very easy to coax. The production crew was speechless. Was there something wrong with her mind? Why was she getting more and more worked up? Not long after, the audience arrived and the live broadcast began. As expected, the audience did not see the lead actor of the popular film crew and began to complain. The netizens in the live broadcast room were even more exasperated. It was only when the camera swept past and they saw Song Yao's face that some people were comforted. Is it Song Yao? Was it Song Yao? I'm shocked. When did she join the cast? She seems to be the second female lead from the Forbidden CEO X Love crew next door. The two crews are competing together. Isn't this deliberately creating traffic for lay drama? Song Yao's face is too limited. She can't act as the female lead at all. Forget it, my younger sister is also a goddess. I'll give her a challenge, as long as she's not too weak. Are you crazy? Why do you have to invite a bunch of entertainers to compete? Don't try to scam the esports industry. Don't say that. Wang Kai is great at gaming. He used to be a youth trainee in Team RS, but he quit because his family didn't let him. Hearing this, the others were a little expectant. The esports fans were too lazy to turn on their microphones. They only paid attention to the two esports teams behind, hoping to see them PK. However, the camera flashed past and a sharp-eyed veteran esports fan suddenly stared at the girl in the first row wearing a mask and staring at a paper bag. The girl in the first row looks a little familiar. I think I've seen her somewhere before. Chapter 1153. Did I see wrongly? The veteran esports fan sent a message hesitantly, thinking that no one would reply. Then, someone replied silently. I think I saw it too. Is it Billion God? Soon. The conversation between the veteran esports fans was rushed up and the other esports fans did not notice their conversation. And the netizens who came to join in the fun did not know who Billion God was. Wang Kai's wife is so handsome. Brother Kai's comic is tearing her apart. Faced with the brainless praises of this group of fans, the rest of the fans turned off their microphones in order not to attract criticism. However, the esports fans could not stand it anymore. Do you have eyes? Song Yao is sitting beside you. Who are you calling a beauty? Song Yao's fans are only of this standard? Even a senior wants to scam her? Are all fans like this now? She's ugly and greasy to begin with, but they don't even let people say it? Are you crazy? Are Song Yao's fans so bold? How could Song Yao be scolded like that by you? Song Yao's fans who were watching the screen were speechless. Oh. Everyone still remembered the fight between Song Yao's fans and Wang Kai's fans a few days ago. However, because Song Yao had few fans, Song Yao was scolded very badly by Wang Kai's fans. Words like, chasing girls, green tea bitches seducing their brothers, get out of the entertainment industry flooded Song Yao's comment section. However, Song Yao had always been in a good mood and did not care much. She did not tell Bei Yunj either. Some passers-by felt their hearts ache, especially when they found out that Song Yao had been preparing for the college entrance examination. Although Song Yao had a pure and innocent face, she had never caused trouble and did not like to talk to male actors from the same crew. As a result, the fans suspected that Song Yao was not interested in men. Until some time ago, the paparazzi took a photo of Wang Kai hugging Song Yao. Song Yao was scolded until she lost 2 endorsements that she had signed with much difficulty. The preparations for the competition. Wang Kai seemed to be finally able to hold his head high. He smiled confidently and did not forget to glance at Bei Yunj, who was not far away, with a disdainful expression. After that, Wang Kai borrowed an account from an esports player he was close to and logged into the competition venue. It was a hot topic. F***ck, Brother Kai is using HK Team Kaka's account. They actually know each other? Wang Kai is indeed awesome just by looking at his appearance. He actually managed to borrow Kaka's account. The esports fans commented from the side, and Wang Kai's fans did not forget to step on Song Yao. Song Yao is so good at sticking to others. Did she stick to any esports player? Get someone to give her an account. Confused. Are you Wang Chang fans sick? It's none of your business whose account Song Yao borrowed. I'm dying of laughter. Song Yao's fans have such foul mouths. Who said that they are Wang Kai's fans? Don't randomly give me your fan status. Under the discussion, Wang Kai even asked Song Yao generously, do you know any professional players? If he used his private account, it was unlikely that he would be able to PK him. It's okay if you don't have it, I can. Private accounts are good too. Thank you. Song Yao only thanked him casually. After a while, she suddenly remembered something. The last time she begged Bai Yunj to help her level up, Bai Yunj even secretly changed her ID. Her name was especially coquettish, Master Pei's little fairy. Song Yao was speechless. Soon, Bai Yunj, who was in the first row, received Song Yao's message. Sister Yao, Yunj? Sister Yao, do you have an account for me? Bai Yunj reacted for a moment before she remembered what she had done last time. The moment Bai Yunj looked up, she saw Song Yao looking at her expressionlessly. Chapter 1154. Bai Yunj immediately replied. Yunj, yes. Bai Yunj handed her account and password to Song Yao. At this moment, Wang Kai, who had been rejected, laughed coldly and crossed his arms, waiting for Song Yao to make a fool of herself. The other actresses in the production team asked the esports players on the spot to borrow an account. Only Song Yao was extremely arrogant. He wanted to see what kind of low-level account Song Yao was going to take out. Song Yao still didn't know what account she had and had never played with Bai Yunj. However, under Wang Kai's dazzling display, the other people in the production team borrowed the accounts of some small teams and were not eye-catching. Everyone was not interested. In the next moment, Song Yao logged in according to her account and password. Suddenly, the special entrance effect of a full-level account appeared on the screen. Because the venue was meticulously prepared, it was almost a half-projected 3D scene. It was cool and shocking. Welcome, earn 100 million first, to the team competition. Many people who did not know this nickname subconsciously looked at the win rate. Win rate, 100%. A full-level account actually had a 100% win rate? Everyone's hair stood on end. F***ck, I'm not dreaming. A full-level big boss? Kaka doesn't seem to have reached the maximum level yet. F***ck, F***ck, F***ck. It's 100 million God's account, it's 100 million God. Song Yao is awesome. Someone can F***king get 100 million God's account? How did they do it? At this time, Wang Kai's fans made a few sour remarks at the wrong time. TSK, the tea master is amazing. How else can you get it? You can just go to bed. However, as soon as these words fell, the effect was far beyond everyone's imagination. Although 100 million God's fans were casual, they had a surprisingly large base and immediately defeated Wang Kai's fans. Looking at your brother's dissected face every day, did you get high? Who doesn't know that my 100 million God is a girl? Ha 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 ha, 100 million God, if your brother wants to get the number he loves, he can only get to Neely. Don't be offended by my noble and cold 100 million God. Thank you. F***ck, in order to get 100 million God's account, did you make it real? Cold and lofty God chasing after his wife? I've already come up with a novel about forbidden love. It's much better than that CEO's forbidden love. Don't knock anymore, knock more. 18th tier little white flower female star ex popular esports god. If Sister Yao can get Ishan to come out for a competition today, I'm willing to grit my teeth and watch her drama to the end. That way, I'll be able to offer a meager viewership rating. Plus 10086. This was the first time Wang Yifan had been scolded into silence. She clearly realized that this billion deity was an existence that could not be provoked. Although many people on the internet didn't like to be a couple, they could tell that Ishan might really have a good relationship with Song Yao, otherwise, he wouldn't have borrowed her account. Therefore, he turned a blind eye to the couple's behavior. However, the situation was out of control. What's the situation? Song, where did you get a max level account? The female lead beside her was also stunned. Song Yao was speechless. She did not expect that Bai Yunj would give her a max level account. It was even, earn 100 million first, which was currently popular in the esports industry. Song Yao did not dare to look up at Bai Yunj. She only saw from the corner of her eye that Bai Yunj was sleeping while avoiding the camera. However, she could not sleep well because the screams in the venue were rising and falling. It's 100 million God. I'm going crazy. No one thought that an ordinary esports celebrity show would be able to get hold of 100 million God's account. Chapter 1155. Sister Yao is awesome. Someone below the stage shouted excitedly. Song Yao, who was unaware of the situation, was speechless. Sister Yao. Please let Billion God out for a competition. Sister Yao, has Billion God stayed at your house? Someone suddenly asked. In the end, someone started to kick up a fuss. Song Yao was speechless. Not only did he stay at my house, he was even sitting in the first row to watch the competition. Sister Yao, pull Billion God out for a competition. I'm willing to watch your new drama 10 times. I'll open 10 computers for you to watch. I can book an internet cafe for you to watch. At this moment, everyone in the production team finally realized what top-tier popularity was. However, Wang Kai's expression was extremely ugly. He never thought that Song Yao would get Billion God's account. Someone in the live stream reacted. I think I saw Billion God just now. He's in the front row. Me too. I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. Everyone begged the cameraman in the live stream to take pictures of the first row. Unfortunately, the cameraman did not watch the live stream. Billion God's fans were so angry that they howled. At this moment, the director was also confused. Who is Billion God? The screenwriter rolled his eyes. A super godly esports big shot. Although he doesn't play much, he's very popular and is comparable to Almighty Qin. Besides, Billion God's popularity overseas is much higher than in China. She's the top player in Continent K. She's that good? The director was shocked. The screenwriter laughed coldly. Let me tell you, if Song Yao comes out of the closet one day, she'll say that she's with Billion God. Do you believe that this godly drama of yours will explode 360 degrees? The director was speechless. On stage, the two teams of esports players opposite were also silent. F***CK, Billion God's account. Who dared to move? Can we still play? Someone asked carefully and hesitantly. If they did something to Song Yao, would Billion God activate the maps of the gods overnight and chase after them with a knife? These words were recorded, but no one in the live stream blamed the contestant for wanting to go easy on them. Ha 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 ha, Sister Yao has become a god. She has Billion God behind her. You can't blame the contestant. Billion God is famous for protecting his people, ha ha ha. Don't be afraid, brother. Go and cut down Billion God's win rate now. Then, start the live stream and let Billion God kill you. The live stream will definitely. Do you understand the code of wealth? That's the money you earn from licking your wounds. Damn, the sisters above are so ruthless. Ha ha ha, now that I think about it, I think Billion God is spoiling girls. Who would be willing to borrow a 100% win rate? Finally, the match began. Even the organizers did not expect that the live stream was almost paralyzed. Thus, they discussed having the pro players and artists mix and match. They could also ask for outside help. Hearing this, everyone started to contact external help. The person Wang Kai invited was Xiao Ji, which attracted a lot of attention. But after all, the 100 million god had appeared before them, so they weren't that surprised. However, Song Yao was hesitating. She did not want Bai Yunj to owe someone a favor for her. However, not long after. Suddenly, someone sent her a message, and a dialogue box appeared on the screen. HK Team Yoi, this person from Ishan's family? Do you need external help? How about me? Everyone was shocked. Wasn't this the captain of HK Team? However, before they could calm down, another big shot came to ask. RS Team, Dai Cheng, Miss Song Yao, do you need external help? I can take you flying too, next. Song Yao was pulled into the group chat. It was filled with the top big shots in the industry. RS Team, Jin, brothers, don't fight. There are several competitions. Everyone is here to gain face with Billion God. There's no need to make things so awkward, right? P.S. Good night, end of this chapter. Chapter 1156. When the other players saw the ferocious comments in the Big Shots group, they were even more shocked. They were already big shots at this level. Didn't they think of being human? And each of them even went to Ishan to show their faces? The live stream was also laughing so hard that they almost stopped breathing. I really didn't expect my big boss, Jian, to become a lackey captain one day. Why do I feel like laughing so much? F***CK, the big boss is playing with her? What kind of dream is this of a billion esports fans? Boo-hoo, Yao Yao has done well. She actually got Ishan. I'm going crazy, I'm going crazy. Yao Yao suddenly turned into a queen and chose a big boss to play with. Ishan, if you pamper people so much, you'll really fall into the hands of a woman. You'll fall into the hands of a woman, ha 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 ha, I'm convinced. This made Wang Kai's fans so angry that their hearts hurt. Indeed. Seeing this scene, Wang Kai's fans turned off their microphones. Even Song Yao's manager, who was waiting in the RV, accidentally clicked on Song Yao's personal account and found that something was wrong. It was still 10.5 million yesterday, but now it had risen to 16 million. And it was still breaking through. It had only been a few hours. Song Yao's manager reacted and immediately clicked into the comments section where Song Yao had been scolded badly. She did not expect the situation to change and the hot comments to be about Song Yao and Ishan. What's the relationship between Song Yao and Ishan? Song Yao's manager was still confused. Scrolling down to read the comments. Not only were there happy comments from Ishan's fans, but there were also Wang Kai's fans who had come to scold Song Yao previously. They were torn apart by Ishan's fans and did not dare to retort. Ishan's friendship, love, will be protected by us. No, Sister Yao, please do me a favor and let Ishan come out to play a competition. I haven't seen Father E for a long time. Boo-hoo, this person from Ishan's family seduced your brother? A C-list celebrity is also trying to seduce my top esports girl? Confused, Song Yao's manager's eyes were unfocused. She suddenly felt that this world had become unfamiliar. At the same time. On stage. With the big boss leading them, the team members who had teamed up with Song Yao were indeed winning. However, what they did not expect was that halfway through the competition, Dai Cheng and Kaka were fighting. She did not know what Wang Kai was thinking, but he was chasing after Song Yao. Although Song Yao's skills were not bad, she was indeed not as good as Wang Kai, who had almost entered the second team. Billion God's chances of winning were cut down. The viewers in the live stream were heartbroken and they were all scolding Wang Kai. What's wrong with Wang Kai? Why is he chasing after Yao Mei? No way, no way. Hacking Ishan's account can satisfy his pleasure? Esports fans were more or less biased. After all, in their hearts, Ishan was an unparalleled big shot, just like Almighty Qin. Especially when she saw Wang Kai apologizing with a greasy smile while hitting Song Yao. So what if you're 100 million gods? Not even a little touch. Those who play sports can't even afford it. What a joke. Who is the one who can't afford to play? You don't dare to provoke other esports players. Is it very impressive to chase after female celebrities? After the competition, it was easy for Dai Qing to crush Kaka, but Song Yao was also tortured badly. According to the points, Song Yao's team lost this round. Song Yao, follow me later, Dai Qing said indifferently. Song Yao smiled faintly. No need. If she followed Dai Qing would take people's heads to destroy the tower and protect her. She would lose this round even more. Dai Qing said nothing. When the next round started, Dai Qing tried his best to control the time and kill Kaka as soon as possible. Chapter 1157. However, Dai Qing was also a little angry. He wanted to kill Wang Kai first, but Kaka kept pestering him. It seemed like the two of them weren't trying to win, but they were trying to increase Billion God's win rate. He did not know who they were trying to disgust. And Billion God's mission for them was to win with Song Yao. Seeing that Billion God's win rate had dropped to 99%, Billion God's fans almost exploded. However, the people in the first row only looked at the screen calmly. Song Yao's team still had a high chance of winning. It was currently 2-1. Song Yao, if you can't do it, come and hide with me. Dai Qing did not forget to tell Song Yao. Song Yao responded and could only deal with Wang Kai, who was sticking to her. But 10 minutes later. No one expected Song Yao to suddenly use a skill when Wang Kai was not paying attention, and the two of them ended the competition together. F***ck, she's not bad. She's a little familiar with Billion God. With an innocent and harmless face, she did the most ruthless thing. She's indeed someone who was taught by Billion God. Yes, after all, Wang Kai was a trainee before. It's already good that he managed to draw. Sigh, I was originally a passerby fan of Wang Kai, but now, his actions are disgusting. In this round, Song Yao actually did not have an easy time, and Wang Kai's expression was a little ugly. It was obvious that he did not expect Song Yao to play this move so recklessly. However, with Song Yao getting rid of Wang Kai, Dai Qing still won. The venue was filled with cheers. Sister Yao is so strong. Someone shouted to cheer Song Yao on. Seeing this, the people in the first row who were pulling their hats to cover their eyes unconsciously smirked lazily and mouthed two words to Song Yao, not bad. Song Yao was a little embarrassed. As for the others, many of them still felt their hearts ache when they saw the soft girl perish together. So, suddenly, someone shouted at the top of his lungs. Billion God, can you do it or not? Are you going to watch your wife be tortured? Biyao was speechless. Then, the originally angry atmosphere was instantly amused and became much more harmonious. No one was sure if Billion God was present. They just wanted to trick him. However, what no one noticed was that a few minutes later, the people in the first row lazily put on their jackets, lowered their caps, and walked towards the door. Song Yao glanced in the direction Biyao had left in and didn't think much about it. She prepared to rest for a while before playing the next round. Backstage. Song, I'm a fan of 100 million gods. Can I get 100 million gods' contact number? The female lead asked excitedly. Song Yao hesitated. I'll go back and ask. Ah, really? Thank you, Song. The female lead's eyes lit up. When the others heard this, they immediately rushed forward to ask about it. Song Yao was tight-lipped and knew how to protect Biyao's identity. She smiled gently and changed the topic quietly. until he returned to the stage. Originally, Jian had rushed to go on stage and wanted to lead Song Yaofei. However, just before they formed a team, Song Yao suddenly saw a message request. User XZYGY requests to join the team battle. It was an account with no level. Before Song Yao could react, there were already excited screams from below the stage. 100 million gods. Song Yao regained her senses and found that the first letter was the spelling of, earn 100 million first. The live stream exploded. F***CK. Is 100 million gods really present? Isn't this spelling of 100 million gods? Ha 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 ha, then isn't Wang Kai done for? Chapter 1158. Are Wang Kai's fans ready? Aw, I'm going to die. Billion God is really here. Sob, 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 the woman at the top of the food chain in the esports scene. More and more people were watching the live stream. Even hashtag Song Yao hashtag Billion God hashtag had rushed to the top of the trending searches. Then, half of the esports scene had mobilized to watch Billion God's live stream competition. Wang Kai's expression was ugly and his hand holding the mouse trembled weakly. Even if he had left the industry, he knew Billion God's status in the industry, but, was it really Billion God? At this moment, Song Yao also hesitated for a moment before sending a message to XZYGY. Where are you? After typing this sentence, Song Yao deleted it and sent another sentence. What's wrong with you? The people in the live stream were scratching their lungs as they looked at the dialogue box. In the internet cafe, Pei Yunj casually threw her jacket to the side and threw the plastic bag to the side, typing slowly. I have to be good. I can't watch my family get beaten up. The moment this message was sent, Song Yao could almost imagine this person's nonsensical look. However, because Pei Yunj was responding to what she had just said, there was another wave of excited screams. Did Billion God know how to joke in private? However, in everyone's eyes, when Billion God got together with a soft girl like Song Yao, it was like Billion God was bullying Sister Yao every day, but it was actually a little flirtatious. Song Yao gathered her thoughts and glanced at the others. She asked politely, can she be external help? Everyone was speechless. This was like AF * King 360-degree spiral into the sky, alright? However, there were also people who were worried. Billion God has created a new account. Isn't the difference in levels too big? There's no need to look down on her. After all, Kaka is still very good. Billion God's actions are a little funny. Then, Song Yao connected the microphone. She tried to ask, is the new account okay? However, the voice on the other end that had been adjusted with a voice changer sounded. You can't say that I can't. Song Yao was speechless. The live stream was dying of laughter. Ha 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 ha, Billion God is making a public scandal. Reported. Sister Yao, I'm speechless. Song Yao's eyelid twitched. She was a little worried that Pei Yunj would lose her reputation in this round. I'm serious. There are professional players on the other side too. That person's languid voice rang out. Do you still need to see who the other party is before you come here to cause trouble? After saying this, the atmosphere immediately exploded. My Yi Shen Shui is cracking. It's burning. I'm Yi Shen. The competition was about to begin. Wang Kai took a deep breath and calmed himself down. He didn't believe that someone could use a smurf account to compete with a pro player who was close to max level. Thinking of this, Wang Kai also stared at Pei Yunj, a strange light flashing in his eyes. As long as he could kill Billion God in this round, he would definitely attract a lot of attention. He could even get the company to buy trending searches and trample on the worshipped billion-dollar god, gaining more attention and popularity. Meanwhile, compared to Dai Cheng and the rest who were present just now, Song Yao ran to Pei Yunja's side very naturally. Ha 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 ha, Sister Yao is cozying up to him openly. She was still cold to God die just now. Now that Billion God is back, Sister Yao changed. I don't believe that there's nothing fishy about this. Seeing Song Yao using Billion God's account to ask for the protection of a level 0 account, the scene was inexplicably funny. Chapter 1159. When Wang Kai saw this scene, he sneered. He was operating his character to deal with the others nearby first. But 3 minutes later, XZYGY easily got the first kill of Kaka. The strongest esports player in the team was as easy as cutting a cabbage in this person's hands. It made the other opponent's hair stand on end. F***CK. What kind of walking head harvester was this? F***CK, 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 the first kill of Kaka, who is almost at the maximum level in 3 minutes. Is he F***King cheating? Billion God's basic operation, sit down. Ha 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 ha, Billion God YYDS. Billion God, that's it? Okay, everyone can watch what it means to really bring a girl to play. We've earned it, we've earned it. A celebrity can actually see Billion God. Following that, what was displayed on the screen was a level 0 account slowly harvesting heads. It looked like there was no pressure at all. It was as if the battlefield was her home ground. As for everyone, they were so shocked that their blood was boiling when they saw Billion God's operation. This was a true level 0 account crushing the entire field and beating them with her strength. But soon, everyone realized the problem. The last person left was Wang Kai, the warrior who had chased after Song Yao in the previous 2 rounds. Wang Kai was so nervous that his hand holding the mouse was sweating. At this moment, after Bai Yunj finished the last hit, he turned to look at Wang Kai. He asked slowly, "Friend, I heard that you're very good at killing people?" Wang Kai was so anxious that he was sweating profusely. His mind was in a mess and his back turned cold. Obviously, Billion God was here to support Song Yao. Ha 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 ha, Billion God, it's too obvious that you're holding a grudge. Light an incense for warrior Wang Kai. It's been a long time since someone was remembered by Billion God like this. I actually got to eat Billion God's candy in my lifetime. Then, Pei Yunj threw away the weapon with great lethality and casually picked up a low-level weapon. Wang Kai gritted his teeth and made up his mind. He planned to fight it out with Bai Yunj like Song Yao. No matter what, it was a slap to Billion God's face. However, what he did not expect was that Pei Yunj's maneuvering was even faster. After one move, he was left with low HP and was unable to use high-level skill points. Kaka, who was watching from the side, felt his scalp go numb. He remembered the half a minute when Bai Yunj destroyed his team. Billion God was still Billion God. He was not human at all. What's the rush? You're not in a hurry to die. Bai Yunj's tone was leisurely, as if he was teasing her, but there was no warmth in his voice. Next, everyone saw that Bai Yunj had only dealt a small amount of damage to Wang Kai. This wasn't a killing, it was a mental attack. Bai Yunj only spared Wang Kai in such a big public place. He slowly cut him down, bit by bit. On the other side, Wang Kai's face alternated between red and green. His hands gripped the keyboard, and his whole body trembled with anger. The fans in the live stream also began to curse. What does Billion God mean? Just because he was a pro player, he dared to humiliate an artist like this? Do you have any manners? Confused, isn't this a little too intolerant? Was this how the almighty of the esports scene felt? You are openly targeting Wang Kai. However, Billion God's fans had long been displeased with Wang Kai because his win rate had been cut. Is the person chasing after Song Yao a dog? Confused, you don't have to care about the esports scene. When Billion God was fighting for the country, your brother was probably still repairing his face in the factory. It's good that you know this is the esports scene. Here, noobs are the original sin. P.S. Good night. Can I get some monthly votes from the little kid today? Chapter 1160. Most of Wang Kai's fans did not know how many fans Yishan had. However, at this moment, seeing Yishan's fans flooding the live stream, they felt at a loss. They knew that they had provoked a big shot. Then, Biyao slowly hacked for more than 10 minutes before he completely sent Wang Kai away. It was a crushing victory. In the next round, Biyao repeated the operation again. Wang Kai was so angry that he almost threw his mouse and left, but the director immediately stopped him and persuaded him. If his relationship with Yishan really became strained, it would be impossible for him to establish an esports persona in the future. Wang Kai took a deep breath and could only endure it. Someone in the live stream could not help but sigh. Yishan is really arrogant, there's no choice. Many people like him. It's human nature to admire the strong. When Yishan was playing professionally, even his opponent's boss came to support Yishan. This is top-notch status. Yishan is lawless plus 10,086. You're so lousy, yet you blame your girlfriend for dragging you down. Come and take a good look. Yishan is leading the entire team alone. To be honest, it feels so good to be led by Yishan. As long as the girl is hurt, Yishan will cripple her. This esports friendship is damn sweet. After 3 rounds, Wang Kai's expression was ugly and he went straight to Song Yao's lounge to apologize to her. Song Yao raised her eyebrows in surprise. Then, she saw Biyao leaning against the door from the corner of her eye. Got it. You can go back. Song Yao replied politely. After Wang Kai left, she was silent for a moment. You. Yishan. Song Yao also played maps of the gods and knew what kind of big shot Yishan was in the esports scene. However, she never thought that Yishan would be by her side. He was even willing to help her level up without any complaints. Biyao rubbed the back of his fair neck and did not meet Song Yao's gaze. I think so. Song Yao was speechless. The atmosphere fell silent again. If you tell me one day that you are, I might not be surprised, Song Yao said slowly. It was hard to tell if she was angry. Biyao was speechless. Song Yao had always been very interested in her. The reason was none other than because she had been the person who had recommended her. If Biyao had not stopped her, Song Yao might have wanted to learn computing and be closer to him. Biyao hummed and quickly changed the topic. Wait a moment. My brother is coming to find me. Song Yao did not need to think to know which brother it was. However, Biyao still asked, shall we have a meal together? Song Yao was speechless. We'll see. If your brother comes, you can leave with him first. Song Yao really thought so, but Biyao stayed because she did not know if Song Yao was angry just now. After the competition, Biyao also sat in the first row with her eyes closed. She crossed her arms lazily and was about to fall asleep. Song Yao had just sat on Biyao's left when she realized that there was a man sitting on Biyao's right. Under the dim lights, the man's pale-colored eyes were emotionless, but his outstanding looks made people unable to look away. He looked at Biyao, who was beside her, with a lazy expression. His well-defined hand was carrying the bag of snacks for Biyao. Biyao's hand was still hooked around the plastic bag and she did not realize that the weight was wrong. Suddenly, Biyao leaned his head toward Song Yao. He leaned on her shoulder steadily. Song Yao felt Washidu's gaze shift. In the next moment, Song Yao reached out her index finger and gently tapped Biyao's forehead, pushing it in the opposite direction. Biyao leaned on the man's shoulder again. Chapter 1161. Song Yao tugged at her cloak and left silently. It was only then that the people around noticed that a handsome and dignified man had suddenly appeared. He had actually carried Song Yao's bad-tempered friend up. Everyone's eyes widened. Was this the official CP? Was this the official CP? In the man's arms, the girl, whose face could not be seen clearly, placed her slender and fair wrist lazily on the man's shoulder and looked up at him with sleepy eyes. "Where are my snacks?" Huashidu laughed angrily. Tsing Su took them. The man exuded a faint and unique cold fragrance. There was also the smell of tobacco that had faded. It was gentle and voodoo. His warmth spread from his chest, making her heart throb uncontrollably. Bai Yunja's eyes were clouded, but a possessive emotion suddenly surged in her mind. She did not want Huashidu to hug someone else like this again. Bai Yunj rarely had such intimate contact with Huashidu, especially in public. Although she enjoyed the steadiness of this hug, she gradually woke up from her drowsiness. She looked up and saw the man's clean and well-defined jawline. His Adam's apple protruded sexily and her heart beat faster unconsciously. "Brother, you'd better put me down." Although Bai Yunj noticed that Tsing Su's expression was numb and natural, she felt inexplicably awkward. For the first time, a certain someone, who was used to not being a person, felt guilty. Huashidu had always respected Bai Yunja's wishes, so he agreed. However, for some reason, Bai Yunj felt that the man's attitude towards her today was indifferent. Bai Yunj hesitated for a moment. She was about to go up and hold the sleeve of his suit when the man avoided her intentionally. Bai Yunj was speechless. Did this D***MN man have eyes on the back of his head? However, in the next second, Bai Yunj received Song Yao's message and opened it. "Sister Yao, your brother's gaze is too scary, bitter." For the first time, Song Yao met death's gaze. "Yunj? Yunj, it's already the greatest respect for me if he doesn't go out and seduce others." Bai Yunj had always felt that Huashidu had a polite gentleness to everyone. To put it in layman terms, that D***MN man seemed to be attracted to everyone. "Sister Sheikh, you're wrong. Little Sister Yao, if you keep this attitude, you'll be eaten by your brother until not even your bones are left." Although Song Yao didn't have much experience, it was her first time meeting a man like Huashidu. He looked like he didn't care about anything, but it seemed like only Bai Yunj was present. His gaze was always on her. Furthermore, when Bai Yunj leaned against her shoulder just now, Song Yao could almost feel how scary the man's gaze was. If she was a man, Song Yao had no doubt that Huashidu would cripple her. The corners of Bai Yunja's eyes twitched when she saw the message. What a mess. "Sister Yao, goober, don't treat a wolf like a puppy. There are differences between wolves and dogs." The way he looked at Bai Yunj was full of possessiveness. However, Bai Yunj still flirted with her every day. He wasn't afraid that he wouldn't have anything to regret when the time came. Song Yao's persuasion was meaningless. Bai Yunj, who had nothing to do every day and flirted with others, turned off her phone again. She looked at the man's slender and good-looking back for a while and the smile on her lips was a little familiar. Before the man could react, he suddenly heard a soft sound from behind, accompanied by Bai Yunja's voice. The man turned around instinctively, but someone bumped into him. Chapter 1162. Huashidu instinctively reached out to hold her arm. When he looked up, he saw her looking at him with a smile. His tone was lazy. "What are you doing? Are you trying to scam me?" "No." The corners of Bai Yunja's lips curled up as she stood on tiptoes to look at him. "I'm touching you, brother." Beside him, Tsing Su's eyelid twitched. Miss Yunja's flirting skills were really not bad at all. However, it was obvious that something was wrong with Huashidu today. He was about to let go when Bai Yunj grabbed his hand tightly. The man stared at her for a while before he gave in and let her hold his hand as they went downstairs. However, the moment they went downstairs, someone called Huashidu. Bai Yunj could only hear the man's low voice as he answered the person on the phone calmly. "I'll look for you in a few days." Okay." The man didn't say anything, but Bai Yunj let go of Huashidu's hand and sat in the front passenger seat to wait for him. Huashidu looked at her from the corner of his eye. He was about to sit in the main driver's seat and bring Bai Yunj out for dinner. However, He saw Bei Yunj leaning against the car window, her fingertips tapping against the window as her beautiful eyes stared straight at him. The man was indeed the most eye-catching person in the crowd. Today, the man was wearing a black suit as usual, but he was wearing an azure cotton shirt inside. He loosened 2 buttons lazily to reveal his collarbone, making his skin look dazzling. As he spoke on the phone, he slowly glanced at her from the corner of his eyes. The way he raised his eyebrows was inexplicably sexy and flirtatious. Sit properly and behave yourself. Huashidu was obviously not talking to the person on the phone. He was talking to her. The person on the other end of the line was silent for a moment. In the next second, Bei Yunj suddenly smiled and stuck half of her body out of the car window. She leaned close to the man and raised an eyebrow, asking arrogantly, "Huashidu, who are you talking to?" Beside her, Tseng Su looked at Bei Yunj with the words, "I'm up to no good," written all over his face. Miss Pei was lawless. Yu Hanran was silent for a moment. "That ancestor of yours?" She even called Huashidu by his full name. She was really spoiled by Huashidu. The man chuckled and glanced at her. "Yes, I'm not your ancestor." Just now, Yu Hanran was discussing asking Huashidu to help persuade the 2 elders of the Yu family to arrange a blind date for Yu Manran. If this matter continued to brew, Yu Manran might really cut ties with the Yu family. Bei Yunj felt that the other party had mentioned her on the phone, so she silently prepared to retreat. But in the next moment, "Let's talk next time. I still have something to do," Huashidu said casually and hung up the phone. He then hugged her slender waist again. It easily fixed the person in place. He couldn't retreat even if he wanted to. Huashidu threw his phone into his pocket. The corners of his seductive eyes curled up. Bei Yunj could also feel the man's fingers rubbing against her waist inch by inch. It was extremely ambiguous. "You want to go back without doing anything? Are you a tortoise?" Bei Yunj, from the corner of her eye, Bei Yunj could already feel the gazes of the people around her. Bei Yunj's heart was beating like a drum. She was a little stiff. The corners of the man's thin red lips curled up. His low laughter carried an ambiguous heat as it landed on her ears. "You're so thin-skinned, little kid." Huashidu was in a good mood. He reached out and pinched the little girl's cheek. Pei Qian's face was burning red. Then, Huashidu held the car window with one hand and watched Bei Yunj sit back down before returning to the driver's seat. Chapter 1163. When Bei Yunj and Huashidu left, Song Yao was standing at the door and saw what had happened. Song Yao sighed softly. It was hopeless. Old Madame Hua was happy for an entire week that Bei Yunj was the top scholar in the country. However, not long after, everyone saw old Madame Hua happily wanting to bring Bei Yunj out. Beside him, Tseng Su wanted to say something but hesitated. In the past few days, Master Du had specially assigned work to accompany Miss Pei out to play. "Grandma, Yunyun doesn't have time." Huashidu hung up and turned to look at her. "What do you mean? Gu doesn't want to go out with me?" With that said, old Madame Hua turned to look at Bei Yunj, wanting to get confirmation. Bei Yunj rubbed her long hair at the back of her head. She had always been very patient with the older generation. "Not really. Look, Gu wants to go out with me too." Old Madame Hua was very arrogant and disdainful. "If she doesn't go out with me, what's the point of going out with a man like you?" Huashidu was speechless. Auntie Miao's eyelids twitched. Usually, the old madam was very smart and knew not to let others abduct Miss Pei. Why was she so confused when Miss Pei finally finished her college entrance examination and could have a good time with Mr. Hua? "Old madam, why don't you let Miss Pei accompany you for a while?" Auntie Miao hurriedly said. "No. I'm going to take Gu shopping to watch the concert today. I've already prepared the tickets." Old Madame Hua insisted. Bei Yunj's fingertips slowly rubbed the skin under her eyes. "All right, when are we going out? Hearing this, old Madame Hua was overjoyed. Look, Gu is much more filial than you. Huashidu was speechless. Bei Yunj went upstairs to change her clothes. When she came down, she found that Huashidu was the only one in the living room. Brother, aren't you going to work overtime? Bei Yunj asked casually. The man hummed faintly. At this moment, Bei Yunj suddenly reacted. Could it be that Huashidu was not preparing to go to work and was planning to accompany her? Bei Yunj was speechless. Not long after, Bei Yunj sat on the edge of the sofa with one hand in front of him. She leaned into the man's ear and asked with a smile, Big brother, will you pick me and grandma up for dinner tonight? Huashidu could tell that the young lady was trying to coax him. He stretched out his hand lazily and pinched her chin. Suppressing the ripples in his eyes, he whispered in her ear, his voice slightly hoarse and seductive. You're not allowed to coax her later. Otherwise, she'll take you to the old mansion again. His child was good at everything, but he was used to the unreasonable behavior of the older generation. It was the first time Bei Yunj had seen Huashidu suffer. She suppressed the smile on her face. Okay. Huashidu looked at the girl who was in front of him. The faint fragrance on her body made one's imagination run wild. He could not help but rub his fingers against her lips and caress them ambiguously. Bei Yunj paused and heard him chuckle softly. Don't coax others. Coax me more. In the car. I say, Sherdu is getting more and more petty. Isn't it just asking Gu to accompany me out to play? Why didn't he come out to send me off? Old Madame Hua muttered and turned around to ask, Gu why don't you come to the old mansion with me after the concert? Tseng Su, who was driving, was speechless. Didn't the old madam understand that if this continued, her family would be in danger? Chapter 1164. Hearing that it was Teacher Wen's voice, Bei Yunj was silent for a moment. No. Then you don't want to take a look? Teacher Wen hinted frantically. However, unexpectedly, the other party did not say anything at first. Not long after, she laughed lazily. Old one, there's no need to cast a lifetime of shadow over my dear classmates at such a happy age of 18, right? She was still the one who was arrogant. Teacher Wen, all the teachers in charge, Teacher Wen could not help but ask, are you really not afraid that you will not perform well? Bei Yunj was silent for a moment, and then used the base of her palm to gently press her closed eyes. Old one, I hope you understand that I have a high fever, not that my brain is fried. Teacher Wen, at this moment, the atmosphere became even more strange and cold. Finally. When he hung up the phone, Teacher Wen still hadn't recovered from the shock. He felt like he was floating. And Bei Yunj also got out of bed, ready to wash up. Downstairs. Old Master Qin was still drinking tea and playing cards with his mahjong partners. Old Su, don't you think that the National Politics University can build a few more buildings? Old Master Qin hinted frantically. Principal Su. What do you want to do? Something happened to my granddaughter in the college entrance examination. She had a high fever and didn't perform well. It was also the first time that old Master Qin had shamelessly asked for help. After all, the universities that Qin Lu and the others went to were either Nili University or Yinqing University. No. Absolutely not. Principal Su immediately refused. He wondered why this old fox asked him to play cards every day. After so many twists and turns, it turned out that he was waiting here. The University of Political Science and Law of a Nation was one of the top law schools in the country. As the principal, if he used his position for personal gain, wouldn't he be stepping on the reputation of the University of Political Science and Law and crazily testing the edge of danger? Principal Su rolled his eyes. As long as you can do it, don't make things difficult for me. The most I can do is to get you some privileges and points, but it won't be much. After that. Principal Su sensed that something was wrong again. No, I heard that the admissions team of Beichuan and Yinqing University specially went to look for your granddaughter. How could she not do well in the exam? As soon as he finished speaking, one of the two mahjong partners next to him pinched his thigh and the other gave him a look to hint. Why didn't this old Su listen to any gossip? Sure enough, old Master Qin was silent for a moment, then said lightly, Old Su, my granddaughter's name is Pei Yunj. You've been in Neely for the past 2 years, so you still don't know the situation. Hearing this, Principal Su immediately quietened down. After living for so long, who wouldn't be a smart person? As for the other two, they felt that it was a pity. Qin Youjiao's excellence in all aspects back then was obvious to everyone in the circle. It was a pity that she was not the biological daughter of the Qin family. She lost because she did not reincarnate well. Suddenly, a voice from the other side of the door broke into their conversation. Dad, do you have to be so biased? Old Master Qin turned his head and found that it was Mother Qin. His face sank and he was more or less on guard. What are you doing here? These few days, the last thing he wanted was for Mother Qin to appear at the old mansion and use Qin Youjiao's score to provoke Pei Yunj. After all, Mother Qin was Pei Yunj's biological mother. Old Master Qin was afraid that Pei Yunj would be upset. However, what Old Master Qin could think of was exactly what Mother Qin was thinking. However, the difference was that Mother Qin came this time to help Qin Youjiao regain her dignity. Jiao Jiao scored 736 points. I want to hold a banquet for her and I hope you can come. Chapter 1165. Old Master Qin's face turned red with anger when he heard that. He pointed at Mother Qin, who was wearing a cheongsam embroidered with white orchids, and said with a trembling finger, Why you don't have any conscience as a mother? Everyone knew that Pei Yunj had gone to take the college entrance exam with a high fever. Even Father Qin had come to ask about it a few times, so it was impossible for Mother Qin to not know about it. But at this time, she was helping Qin Youjiao flaunt her strength? Mother Qin pursed her lips. Then, she stubbornly sneered and said, Dad, you're the one who's biased. If it wasn't for the fact that you don't care about Jiao Jiao's life, I wouldn't have done this. Jiao Jiao is the child who has been by my side for more than 10 years, but you only have Pei Yunj in your heart. Principal Su and the others felt a little awkward when they heard Old Master Qin and his daughter-in-law arguing on the spot. You! Old Master Qin was so angry that his heart ached. The mahjong players beside him hurriedly helped him to sit down. I won't go. There's only one daughter in the Qin family. Old Master Qin said with a dark expression. Mother Qin's eyes burned with anger when she heard that. She sneered and glanced at the people beside her. Even Principal Su is here. Dad, you're too biased. If Jiao Jiao didn't do well this time, would you be willing to find some connections for her? I wouldn't. Old Master Qin said expressionlessly. It wasn't just Qin Youjiao. Even if it was Qin Luyan and the others, if they didn't do well in the college entrance exam, Old Master Qin wouldn't find any connections for them even if he wanted them to repeat their studies. However, Mother Qin's face still contorted when she heard this answer. However, the next moment, out of the corner of her eye, Mother Qin noticed that Pei Yunj had come down from upstairs. She suddenly smiled faintly and said, Dad, is it because Pei Yunj did well in the exam that you didn't come to Jiao Jiao's banquet? These words almost infuriated Old Master Qin. If it weren't for the fact that the men of the Qin family were taught not to hit women, he would have picked up his walking stick. But don't worry, Dad. Even if you don't treat Jiao Jiao as your granddaughter, Jiao Jiao still wants to be filial to you. The phone number and address she left for her college entrance exam are also in our old mansion. Mother Qin smiled deliberately. As a child of the Qin family, how can I embarrass the Qin family? You, cough, cough, cough. Old Master Qin was so angry that he felt faint. Grandpa. At this moment, Pei Yunj walked over to help Old Master Qin calm down. She had only heard a little of the conversation and asked unhurriedly, What are you talking about? Nothing much. When Old Master Qin saw his granddaughter, his voice became much gentler. This surprised Principal Su and the others. One must know that old Master Qin had never spoken to Qin Yojiao in such an affectionate tone. This must be Yunj, right? How were your college entrance exam results? The moment Principal Su spoke, he instinctively asked about her results. As a result, old Master Qin's death stare fell on him. Not bad. Pei Yunja's expression was natural. Principal Su couldn't help but ask, how many points? Pei Yunj replied, I haven't checked yet. Old Master Qin was speechless. Principal Su and the mahjong players were speechless. This kind of self-confidence was indeed rare. Mother Qin couldn't help but scoff. She said sarcastically, if it's not good, then it's not good. How good is it? Have you had enough? Old Master Qin's voice was stern. Mother Qin's face turned pale and she didn't continue speaking. Pei Yunj glanced at Mother Qin with interest and chuckled softly. Mother Qin felt inexplicably uncomfortable. Just as she was about to say something, someone came in from outside. It was the principals of Yun University and Beichuan University. P.S. There's still one more chapter. You guys go to sleep first. End of chapter. Chapter 1166. Excuse me, is this old Master Qin's house? The two principals had just arrived and they were still slightly nervous. After all, they had met many outstanding candidates who came from well-to-do families, but this was the first time they met someone who came from such a well-to-do family. It was at least a few hundred meters from the entrance of the old mansion to the living room. However, when Mama Qin saw this, she thought that they were here to look for Qin Yojiao. She was somewhat flattered. Principal Xiang, Principal Tan, why are you here today? Didn't you call Jiao Jiao yesterday? When old Master Qin heard this, he thought that they were here to look for Qin Yojiao and his face instantly darkened. He almost chased them away on the spot. Tong Yueying, I'm warning you, this is the last time. Old Master Qin's tone was sinister. This made the principals of Yunhua University and Beichuan inexplicably afraid. Surely not. Just because they did not call Pei Yunj yesterday, old Master Qin was already this angry? Old Master Qin, this matter is related to your biological granddaughter after all. You should calm down and listen to this. Am I her mother? Can't you talk to her mother? Old Master Qin's tone was extremely irritated. The principals of Yunhua University and Beichuan shrank their necks. This was indeed the family of the national top scholar. How arrogant. Then. Mrs. Qin, can we talk? The principal of Yunhua University smiled stiffly at Mama Qin. You're too kind to come here personally. I really don't know what to say. Mama Qin was very happy and smiled brightly. However, if Principal Xiang and Principal Tan are free, I wonder if you'd be willing to attend my daughter's banquet in a few days? Banquet? The principal of Yunhua University was stunned for a moment, but he quickly smiled again. Of course. It's only right. After all, she's the national top scholar. No matter what, we should celebrate. However, as soon as he finished speaking, Principal Su and the others subconsciously looked at Mama Qin and the others. National top scholar. There was actually a living national top scholar in their circle? However, Mama Qin's smile was slightly stiff. Top scholar? Principal Xiang, are you mistaken? My family is ranked second in Jiaojiao City and only fourth in the country. Of course not. Halfway through his sentence, Senior Colonel Yun immediately sobered up. Wait. Who told you it's classmate Qin? I'm talking about classmate Pei Yunj. Suddenly, the atmosphere fell into a dead silence. On the other hand, Principal Yun was still talking non-stop. I really didn't expect classmate Pei to score 749 points in the college entrance examination despite the unprecedented level of difficulty. I heard that 1 point was deducted because he didn't finish his essay. Initially, the teachers who marked the papers wanted to deduct 2 or 3 points, but a senior teacher really liked classmate Pei's essay and was so angry that he decided to deduct 2 or 3 points. Hence, he sent it to the higher-ups for approval and only 1 point was deducted. Gu scored 749 points. Old Master Qin was at a loss for words as he asked in disbelief. Principal Beichuan hesitated. You didn't even check the scores? Could this be the national top scholars family? They were already so confident. Old Master Qin was speechless. What should he say? Not only did he not check the scores, but he was also helping his granddaughter get in through the back door. Principal Su was also silent. If he had agreed to let old Master Qin get in through the back door, would he have made a killing today? That can't be, right? Su, you're from a politics and law school. How dare you snatch the top scholar from us? Principal Beichuan looked wary. Principal Su was speechless. You might not believe it, but I just rejected the backdoor application from the family of the college entrance examination's top scholar. P.S. Good night, good girls. Chapter 1167. Principal Su was expressionless, but his heart was numb. Shut up. Pei Yunj. Suddenly, Mother Qin seemed to lose her mind. She looked up at the principal of Yun University and denied it agitatedly. How is that possible? How could she be the top scorer in the national examination? She must have cheated. She must have cheated. However, her words caused the principals of several universities to look at her with disgust. How could the dignified Madame Qin say such things? As a mother, how could she be biased to this extent? It's not surprising that student Pei was the top scorer in the national examination. After all, she was also the top scorer in the previous joint examination. The principal of Yun University changed his attitude. Principal Beichuan, who was sitting beside him, rolled his eyes. Someone had posted on WeChat Moments that the heavens were jealous of geniuses after finding out that Pei Yunj was seriously ill. She was the top scorer in the joint examination? Principal Su looked shocked. Back then, before he returned to China, he heard this news and was shocked for a long time. After all, the difficulty of the examination paper was far beyond the standard of the National College Entrance Examination. But in the end, someone actually scored full marks. All of a sudden, Principal Su looked at old Master Qin with a complicated expression. His face was even a little distorted. Good Lord. So this was what this old fox meant when he said that she did not do well in the examination? Because she could score full marks in the past, but now she actually lost 1 mark? Finally, old Master Qin was all smiles. He could not wait to announce this great news to the world. Pei Yunj suddenly said, Grandpa, I have an appointment with my classmate. Can I go out to play? Before old Master Qin could say anything, a few principals at the side stopped Pei Yunj. Student Pei, can you consider Beichuan? Beichuan's physics department is the ace major. As long as you are willing, you can enter any professor's laboratory. The principal of Yun University, who was at the side, did not want to be outdone. Don't listen to him. Every major in Yun University is good. Moreover, there are many scholarships. Principal Su, who could not get a word in, was filled with endless regret. This was the consequence of being stupid back then. If he had found out that Pei Yunj was the top scorer in that joint examination before he rejected her, he would have brought her to the school no matter what. Following that, the principal of Yun University suddenly played the emotional card. Yunj, you know that old Bai is the former principal of Yun University. Isn't coming to Yun University the same as returning to your happy hometown? Pei Yunj was speechless. Principal Beichuan did not want to be outdone either. Yunj, you know that old Zhong is my teacher. If you come to Beichuan, more than half of the professors here will be old Zhong's juniors. Looking at this noisy scene, Mother Qin's face turned livid. She gritted her teeth, feeling as though she had been slapped in the face. Mother Qin took a deep breath. She did not want to stay here for another second. She turned around and left immediately. And right then, Pei Yunj's eyelids also moved. regarding the school selection. I'll listen to my grandfather. With that, Pei Yunj quickly walked away. Only old Master Qin was left standing there in a daze. However, a few seconds later, the principals and old Master Qin looked at each other. Half a minute passed. Old Master Qin suddenly became noble and elegant in a second. He sat back on the sofa and said, "Old Shao, you guys should go back early." When the other two mahjong partners heard this, they knew that this matter was about to start and immediately left. Before the other three principals could react, they heard old Master Qin ask in a very reserved manner, "Do all of you know how to play mahjong?" Principal Yun University, ? Principal Bei Chuan, ? Principal Su. Chapter 1168. A few minutes later. The three principals were forced to play mahjong with old Master Qin. Old Master Qin said with a smile, emphasizing the last three words. Come, come, come. Don't let me win just because I have a granddaughter who is the top scorer in the college entrance examination. The principals were speechless. Good Lord. Initially, they wanted to play a few rounds seriously. But now that the old man said that, who would be so stupid as to play seriously? They were all people who had lived most of their lives. Who could not understand what he meant? The few principals who had been flattered for half their lives could only smile and agree at this moment, seriously losing money to play with him. Principal Su, in particular, had a fake smile on his face. This old thing did not let him go. It was obvious that he wanted to take back the money that he had won earlier. The entire afternoon. Old Master Qin was having a lot of fun. He only saw the three principals off in the evening. His face was filled with the joy of victory. Principal Xiang, come again next time. We will, we will. Please don't see me out. The principal of Yunhua University had a stiff smile on his face, but his heart was about to break down. He did not want to come to this godforsaken place ever again. After the principals left, old Master Qin placed his hands behind his back and walked back to the living room arrogantly. Not long after, he went upstairs to change his clothes. About half an hour later, Qin Lang had just returned to the old mansion when he was shocked by old Master Qin, who was in the living room. "You, what are you wearing? A dragon robe?" Qin Lang asked, finding it hard to explain. Old Master Qin stood in front of the mirror and looked at his bright yellow Tongshen costume. His tone was indifferent and pretentious. "How is it? I'll be wearing this for the banquet." "Qin Lang, do you want me to make a king's crown for you?" "Gu is not around, right?" Qin Lang could not be bothered with old Master Qin and puffed a sigh. "I heard that Qin Youjiao got second place in the city. I hope she doesn't know about this. Do you think Gu is like you? She only scored so little in the college entrance examination." Old Master Qin had a look of disdain on his face. "Qin Lang, ? What's Gu's score?" Qin Lang lifted his head abruptly and asked. 749. Old Master Qin lifted his chin with a look of disdain. "Unlike you, Yunhua University, who scored so much. Just now, a few principals from Yunhua University, Beichuan University, and the National Politics University were playing cards with me." Qin Lang, no wonder this old man thought of himself as an emperor and even started to wear a dragon robe. After Qin Lang was done with his disdain, he quickly went upstairs and secretly posted on his WeChat moments to show off. Pei Yunj had only come out to hide from the principals. After giving Song Yao a call, he found out that Song Yao had scored 9th place in the city and was definitely going to enter Yunhua University. At the Computing Institute. "Master Pei, you're amazing. Even though you have a high fever, you still managed to become the top scorer in the country," Si Qingyan teased. In the afternoon, news of the top scorer in the college entrance examination enduring a high fever and getting full marks spread like wildfire. Was this the world of the big shots? "He should be coming to my faculty, right?" Si Qingyan asked excitedly. Pei Yunj didn't even raise his head. Will you teach me? Si Qingyan, what a stinging rhetorical question. I haven't thought about it yet. I just want to make the old man happy by taking the college entrance examination. Pei Yunj said slowly. Anyway, as long as you don't leave Yuncheng, you can go anywhere. Si Qingyan was scrolling through the hot search as usual. Suddenly, he saw a novel hot search and clicked on it. After a while, he sneered. What's wrong? Pei Yunj asked. Si Qingyan seemed to think of something and chuckled. Nothing. Today, Qin Yojiao was checking the scores live. The news that he ranked second in the city was directly on the hot search. Chapter 1169. Hashtag Qin Yojiao ranked second in the city in the college entrance examination. Hashtag Qin Yojiao ranked second in the college entrance examination. Hashtag a few of the terms were on the hot search list, and not long after, they reached the top. The reason why Qin Yojiao did this was obvious. It was to embarrass Pei Yunj. She thought that Pei Yunj had really gone to the examination hall with a high fever and would definitely fail the exam this time. Therefore, she wanted to take the opportunity to step on Pei Yunj and embarrass Pei Yunj on the internet. After all, Pei Yunj had brothers like Qin Yu and Qin Lang who had their own popularity, so it would be easy for her to gain popularity. In addition, Pei Yunj and Qin Yojiao had always had a grudge against each other. The netizens had always been watching for a good show. Very soon, these terms were quickly left with comments. Ah, Jiao Jiao is so awesome. She ranked second in the city. I wouldn't even dare to do this in my dreams. Is this the scene of a rich and powerful princess turning the tables? Sob sob sob, I will always love the female lead the most. Jiao Jiao, charge. Since she's on the hot search list, I'll recommend my sister Jiao Jiao. She's the youngest member of the International Music Association, and the second top student in the college entrance examination hall. Looks like the princess is still a princess. She went to Nili for a year and still managed to get second in the city when she returned. I wonder how the real daughter is doing in her college entrance examination. I heard that the real daughter had a high fever of 39 degrees Celsius during her college entrance examination. It spread all over Hengda. She's probably going to be defeated by Qin Yojiao this time. No way, right? Is a certain someone even worthy of being compared to my Jiao Jiao? A high fever isn't an excuse either. If she can't win, then she can't win. The netizens quickly left comments, wishing that they could dig up Pei Yunj's score. There were also some fans of Qin Lang and Qin Yu who were rationally defending Pei Yunj. After all, this was as much as sister-in-law fans could do. Meanwhile, at home, Qin Yojiao scrolled through the trending comments. The sarcasm at the corner of her mouth became even more intense. So what if Pei Yunj returned to the Qin family? Wasn't she still inferior to her? Was she still going to be trampled underfoot by her? Qin Yojiao lay on the sofa and continued to scroll down the trending topics. However, she saw two trending terms from the corner of her eye. Hashtag National Top Scorer 749 Hashtag Cry, Qin Yojiao frowned. She felt a little uncomfortable, but she still clicked on this term. What does it mean to be a real big shot? Compared to Qin Yojiao's 716 plus 20 privilege points, this is the real father. She beat this year's examinees up and taught them how to be human. She didn't finish her Chinese essay and only deducted 1 point. She got 149 points. She got full marks for all other subjects. The netizens couldn't help but worship the big shot. The examinees from the same batch were rubbed against. How can she get 749 points? She's a god, right? I'm dying of laughter. Qin Yojiao just appeared on the trending topics. Why are you all so fat? Are you deliberately embarrassing the #1 female lead in the universe, Sister Jiao? Dog head, I can't let my mom see this trending topic. I'm already getting beaten up even though I'm in the same school as the top scorer. Goodbye, How can she get 749 points with a fever of 39 degrees? F***ck, she took the exam while she was sick. So fierce? I can prove it. It's true. I'm also an alumnus of Hengda. TSK. Qin Youjiao is too capable. People don't even take her seriously. Why does she have to rush to provoke the big shot? Hey, what do you mean? Why can't I understand? Don't ask. If you ask, she's the real girl. YYDS, call. The passers-by were confused when they saw several alumni talking in riddles. What does this matter have to do with the real girl? Until a few minutes later. Some people couldn't sit still and forwarded and claimed the status of the official media. Qin Yu, well, she's better than her brother. Yinxing Daily, come into the world of the prodigy. 749 points in the hellish college entrance examination. The editor also cried, picture, P.S. There's one more chapter. Chapter 1170. Very soon. Some people were not willing to lag behind. Crushed Qin Lang, welcome to the fourth college student in my family. She will always be my little rose. Yinxing Daily, enter the world of the prodigy. 749 points in the hellish level of the college entrance examination. The editor is also crying. Picture, Qin Corporation, #Queen's behavior #Missy rushes. Yinxing Daily, enter the world of the prodigy. 749 points in the hellish level of the college entrance examination. The editor is also crying. Picture, this time, the whole internet exploded. What was going on? Qin Yu and Qin Lang only had one younger sister. Qin Youjiao had long left the Qin family. So, the national college entrance examination champion was Pei Yunj? Is it what I think it is? The college entrance examination champion is a real daughter? Upstairs, be more serious. It's the national college entrance examination champion. Cat head, F***ck, so she took the exam while she was sick. In the end, she still got the first place in the national college entrance examination? I'm vomiting from laughing. Sister Jiao's fans who have a bad mouth just now, come and kowtow to the father of the top student. Ha, this is too embarrassing, right? She can get 749 points even when she is sick. What about Sister Jiao? How can Sister Jiao continue to act as the main female lead? To be honest, the real daughter fulfills all my fantasies of a rich girl. She is low-key and doesn't play tricks. She doesn't care about any comments from the outside world. You can scold or praise her, but she will accept it all. Compared to this, Qin Youjiao is so low. The real daughter's reputation in school is actually not bad. She looks cold and aloof, but she is also a human wrench. If it weren't for the school bell of the neighboring No. 1 high school, I would be willing to be a ghost under her skirt. Sob. As soon as these words fell, it resonated with many people. Every time they wanted to strike up a conversation with Pei Yunj and ask for her WeChat, Song Yao's smiling face next to her made their scalps go numb. In this day and age, the school bell was also digested internally. However, Qin Youjiao's face turned pale when she saw this. She bit her lip hard and stared at the screen. How could this be? Pei Yunj scored 749 points. She was the national champion. Jiao. I bought you a cake that you like. Mother Qin did not mention Pei Yunj, not wanting to upset Qin Youjiao. However, Qin Youjiao immediately walked in front of Mother Qin. Mom, how many points did Pei Yunj score? She's the national champion? Mother Qin looked flustered. She did not expect Qin Youjiao to find out so quickly. However, when Mother Qin recalled that Beichuan and Yunhua University's principal had gone to the Qin family mansion to visit old Master Qin because of Pei Yunj, she could only bite the bullet and say, yes. Qin Youjiao recalled that she had deliberately bought the trending topic just now. Looking at it now, it was like a slap to her face. At that moment, her face turned green and red. She took a step back and could not help but shake her head with a dazed look in her eyes. How is this possible? It's impossible. She's clearly a good-for-nothing. When Mother Qin heard Qin Youjiao say that about Pei Yunj, her heart felt strangely stifled. However, she quickly comforted her. Jiao Jiao, it's not what you think. There are national champions every year, but you're the youngest member of the music association. There's nothing wrong with that. The music association, Qin Youjiao mumbled. Suddenly, she came back to her senses and remembered something. Pei Yunj had also been to Neely and had even become a member of the music association because she had cheated. However, she had been reported, although she did not know what happened next, but at least she could use this to make Pei Yunj unable to make a comeback and completely become a street rat that everyone wanted to beat up. Mom, you're right. I'm the youngest C-rank member of the music association. Qin Youjiao suddenly smiled. She turned around and walked upstairs, mulling over an idea. P.S. Goodnight. Qin Youjiao could not do anything anymore. This time, she was the first person to deal with her when she came back. Chapter 1171. On this day, Qin Youjiao was almost trembling with anger at the group of people on the internet. She did not know who was behind this, but the trending topic directly reached the top. No matter how she tried to find her connections, she could not get rid of it. However, after 2 days, the popularity of this entry quickly disappeared. It was obvious that someone was protecting Pei Yunj. This kind of understanding almost made Qin Youjiao's eyes red with jealousy. However, in the past few days, Pei Yunj was busy with the establishment and expansion of the Higgins Group's double headquarters and did not care about anything else. It was also because of the Higgins Group's double headquarters announcement on the internet that it had attracted the attention of many people and even became a trending topic. In less than 2 days, because of Shang Yan's handsome interview, the Higgins Group's reputation directly rose in the country. After all, this year, the Higgins Group launched a series of high-tech product series, which directly entered the top 10 of the world's enterprises and the top 1 of the future commercial potential list. And such a mega enterprise could establish a new headquarters in Yuncheng, which indeed attracted international attention. After all, to some extent, this would definitely raise the domestic scientific research level and drive the economic development of Yuncheng. Therefore, many research institutes in a country could not help but want to contact the person in charge of the Higgins Group. However, it was said that the current heir of the Higgins Group never showed up. And most of the things were handled by General Manager Shang, Higgins' headquarters in Yuncheng. As soon as Pei Yunj arrived, she looked at the international design of the building. At first glance, she knew that it was a foreign enterprise. She moved her eyebrows and did not say much. She pressed the brim of her hat and stepped in. In the hall on the first floor, many people in charge of various companies had gathered. Such a scene was surprising. After all, these people were all well-known figures in the country. But now they gathered together, thinking of ways to meet the senior management of the Higgins Group. They all had plans in their hands, hoping to get the favor of the head of the Higgins Group. Inadvertently, Pei Yunj also heard a familiar voice that she had not heard for a long time. Young General Manager Cheng, you can handle the affairs of your own industry at such a young age. It's really amazing. Someone next to him praised. Cheng Zihuai, who had always been arrogant among his peers, just smiled modestly. My father said that I should come out to gain more experience, and also to learn from all of you. Zihuai, you are too modest. You are also an outstanding talent in Qingchong Computing Center. And Higgins has always paid attention to scientific research. It is estimated that the first company they will choose to cooperate with will be the Qing Group. Speaking of this, everyone looked at Cheng Zihuai with admiration and more or less hostility. However, Cheng Zihuai had long been used to such gazes. He still smiled calmly and said, Our Qing Group really wants to cooperate with Higgins Group, but I also heard that the Qing Group is preparing to develop in the direction of scientific research. But when he heard the scolding, his tone was mocking. CEO Qin's appetite is big, and he wants to get a foot in everything. The Qin Group is an old technology company. No matter what aspect of strength it is, it will not be inferior. A dark light flashed across Cheng Zihuai's eyes. This time, he was indeed determined to get the opportunity to cooperate with Higgins. Therefore, he would not let the Qin Group be an obstacle to him. But fortunately, Qin Youjiao had already left the Qin Group, so he had nothing to worry about. Moreover, the Qin family still had Pei Yunj, who made him feel disgusted. Cheng Zihuai could not hide the sarcasm in his eyes. Pei Yunj only had this little trick up her sleeve, which made her brothers deliberately target Youjiao. End of this chapter. You're tuning into the Biyao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.